Chapter 1788. The girl's clear and bright eyes were full of his figure. And now, I have something more important than dreams. The man's heart seemed to have been hit hard. Are you sure? The girl chuckled. I'll retire after my success. I just want to spend time with you and Xiaobao. If it had been her in the past, she would have been unwilling to retire from her peak. However, after taking a trip to the gates of hell, she clearly knew what was the most important thing in her life. The man leaned over and kissed the girl's forehead. No matter what decision you make, Xiaobao and I will support you. Given Ning Xi's current physical condition, what she needed the most was to recuperate. Rehabilitation wasn't something that could be done in a short time. He was most worried that after Ning Xi woke up and found out everything, she wouldn't be able to accept being forgotten by everyone. He didn't expect his girl to surprise him once again. All right, Xiaobao should be out of school soon. Let's go pick him up from school. Ning Xi looked at the time and said excitedly. Lu Tingxiao nodded. Okay, let's go pick him up. Wait, I need to change. Is there anything I can change into? She had left in a hurry to see Lu Tingxiao and hadn't changed her clothes. She had only put on a jacket. Yes, wait. A moment later, Ning Xi changed into a light pink floral linen dress. Her long hair casually fell behind her head. Is this okay? You look good. Hairstyle? Very beautiful. After getting into the car, Ning Xi was still checking herself. Lu Tingxiao, do you think Xiaobao will blame me? He will blame me for making him wait for so long. Ning Xi was very nervous along the way, probably because she was close to him. Don't worry, he won't. Lu Tingxiao comforted her. This year, how has Xiaobao been? Ning Xi asked hesitantly. Very good. I just miss you. After all, such a long time had passed, and Ning Xi was filled with unease. Will Xiaobao forget about me? Will he be estranged from me? Will Xiaobao grow taller? Will Xiaobao have other aunties he likes more? While he was lost in his thoughts, the car finally arrived at the school gate. This was no longer the kindergarten that Xiaobao had been in, but an elementary school. Xiaobao was already in the first grade. There were still 10 minutes before school ended. So Lu Tingxiao's car was quietly parked on the side of the road. Time ticked by abnormally slow second by second. Dong! Finally, the school bell rang again and again, echoing above their heads. The quiet school gate was suddenly filled with bustling voices. Children happily dashed out of their classrooms one after another. Ning Xi passed through the crowd of students and parents. She anxiously waited. After waiting for more than 10 minutes, the number of people at the school gate gradually decreased, but Xiaobao was still nowhere to be seen. Ning Xi couldn't help but feel a little anxious. Why hasn't Xiaobao come out yet? After waiting for a while, Ning Xi finally saw a familiar figure when there was almost no one at the school gate. The little fellow was carrying a school bag, and his face was expressionless, as usual. He was holding a square box in his hand. The moment she saw the little fellow, Ning Xi burst into tears. Xiaobao has grown taller. Yes, I've grown taller by 6 centimeters. Chapter 1789. Lu Tingxiao pushed the door open and said, I'll pick you up. Don't wander around. There are too many people and cars here. Okay. Ning Xi's eyes were fixed on Xiaobao, who was not far from the car window. She nodded absent-mindedly. Lu Tingxiao got out of the car and walked towards his son. Xiaobao, who was waiting at the door, walked towards his father as usual when he saw him. Lu Tingxiao gently rubbed his son's head. Why are you so late today? Xiaobao looked down at the box in his hand. I made a cake for Mommy during handicraft class. Lu Tingxiao glanced at the cake and took it. Then he quietly held his son's hand and walked towards the car. The two of them passed by a stall with many trinkets on it. There were butterflies, grasshoppers, and other small animals made of bamboo. The stall owner saw a cute little boy staring at the things on his stall and immediately greeted him warmly. Little boy, do you like it? Let your father buy you one. Xiaobao turned and left without lingering. It was not as good as Mommy's. When they were about to reach the car, Xiaobao stopped and said, I'm going to Grandpa's today. Please bring the cake to Mommy. Lu Tingxiao did not respond. Xiaobao frowned and looked at his father. Xiaobao thought that his father did not hear him and was about to repeat himself. However, Lu Tingxiao interrupted him. Give it to her yourself. With that, he reached out to open the backseat door. Xiao Bao's expression changed almost instantly. He slowly looked at the back seat where the car door was opened. The next second, the little boy was stunned as if he had seen something incredible. His expressionless little face was shocked to the extreme. He opened his mouth, but could not say a word. Ningxi could no longer care about her turbulent emotions and hesitation. She got out of the car and leaned over to take the little boy into her arms. Baby! Xiao Bao was surrounded by the warm and soft embrace. His eyes were wide open and a layer of mist quickly filled them. The mist quickly turned into tears and rolled down his cheeks silently, and the little boy finally called out shakily, Mommy, sorry to make you wait so long, baby. Mommy, I'm here. Mommy. The little fellow hugged his mother's neck tightly and burst into tears. All the waiting, all the longing, all poured out at this moment. Holding Xiao Bao, who was crying and gasping for breath, Ningxi felt so sad that her heart was about to break. I'm sorry. Baby, I'm sorry. Lu Tingxiao stood by the side with a gentle look in his eyes. Looking at the mother and son who were hugging and crying, he reminded Xiao Bao softly, Don't you have something to give Mommy? Only then did Xiao Bao temporarily stop crying. Sobbing, he took the box from his father's hands and held it in front of his mother. For me? Ningxi asked. Xiao Bao nodded. Ningxi carefully opened the box and saw a piece of cake inside. There was a picture drawn with jam on the cake. The simple lines outlined a woman sleeping on the bed, and beside the woman sat a small figure. Her Xiao Bao. He had never forgotten her. At the thought of the little fellow sitting alone on the edge of her bed every day, waiting for her to wake up, Ningxi's heart was filled with guilt. Why couldn't she wake up earlier? Thank you. Mom likes it very much. Thank you. Chapter 1790. In a high-class apartment in the capital, the spacious living room was in a mess. The TV screen on the wall was full of cracks and sparks. The game controller smashed into the picture frame with a loud noise. Lei Ming hid in the corner with his head in his hands, trying to persuade Jiang Mai. My little ancestor, don't smash it. Don't smash it. Please calm down. Am I not calm enough? Jiang Mai's eyes were bloodshot. He kicked over the coffee table in front of the sofa. The things on the coffee table were knocked over, and the laptop was not spared. On the flickering computer screen was a piece of gossip news. A photo took up most of the page. In the dim bar, a man and a woman were kissing in an ambiguous position. The two people in the photo were the two most popular artists in the entertainment industry, Han Zixuan and Jiang Mai. As soon as the photo was published, it quickly occupied the headlines and was trending on Weibo and Weibo. At the same time, all the scandals between the two were dug up by netizens. The media and fans speculated about the relationship between the two. Some even believed that they had been together for a long time. Yes. You're just throwing a tantrum at home. You're already very calm. Lei Ming tried to appease him. Mai, you've been in the entertainment industry for so many years. You've seen all kinds of storms. There are plenty of female artists who want to ride on your popularity. Such a small matter was not a problem at all. You don't have to be so angry. It's not worth it to hurt your health. Who the hell wants to ride on my popularity? My skin has already been scraped off by her. Do you really think I don't know what they've done in private? Jiang Mai was as furious as a lion. He couldn't suppress his anger at all. Yes. At the beginning, she was still an artist of Xianxia. We're all in the same company. It's inevitable that you're a newcomer. Since they want to ride on your popularity, we turn a blind eye to it. But this time, the other party didn't even give us a heads up and deliberately leaked the stills to the media. They've really gone too far this time. Lei Ming sounded very dissatisfied. But since it had already happened, he had to find a way to solve it with the least impact. Jiang Mai's face was gloomy. Release a statement to clarify it immediately. If you don't, I'll release it on Weibo myself. No. My little ancestor, please don't touch Weibo. Given Jiang Mai's current state, if he were to post something on Weibo, who knew what kind of trouble he would cause? Lei Ming almost knelt down in front of him. Muyi, think about it carefully. Why would Han Zixuan's team leak this photo at a time like this? It was all because the world was about to air, and they wanted to take the opportunity to hype it up. To be fair, this kind of hype is a win-win situation for Han Zixuan, us, and the crew. Huh, so you're saying that I should endure it? Jiang Mai's smile was extremely creepy. Originally, he didn't even want to accept Under the Heavens, but Under the Heavens had a special meaning to Ning Shi. He couldn't let those people wantonly dip their hands in it and not care about it. Lei Ming swallowed his saliva. As a manager, of course, he hoped that he could endure it. It was better to avoid trouble. However, how could he dare to say that? Actually, the reason why Han Zixuan dared to do this was because she was sure that they would swallow this loss. Chapter 1791. Lei Ming's head was about to explode. Ever since Ning Shi retired and Lin Zhizhi resigned, he had been living in hell every day. It's not that I don't want to clarify, but I really can't. You and Han Zixuan are filming this movie, and the production team is very strict about keeping a secret. If you announce this movie in advance to clarify, Han Zixuan won't have any responsibility. She can just say that she doesn't know why the photos were leaked, and will have to take the blame instead. This is Shun Mian's movie. In fact, Jiang Mai only made a cameo appearance in this movie for Shun Mian's sake. He didn't have many scenes. The biggest beneficiary of this hype was Han Zixuan. The signing ceremony of the world will be held in a few days. If this gets out of hand, even the crew of the world will be implicated. The male and female leads haven't even started shooting the movie. What will people think? Lei Ming tried his best to persuade him. Jiang Mai's attitude changed a little when he heard that it would affect the world. Lei Ming took the opportunity to continue persuading him. When director Shin's modern movie is officially announced and the world starts shooting, we'll clarify it then. Then everything will be fine. Just bear with it for a while. Lei Ming's lips were about to break. Finally, he dodged this disaster and calmed Jiang Mai down for the time being. In just a few days, the scandal between Jiang Mai and Han Zixuan became more and more popular. Even the upcoming remake of The World was hyped up. After the remake of The World, Sun Huanqing and Meng Chang'e, who were super popular in the movie, became the male and female leads, which made up for the fans of the original novel. There were all kinds of related discussions on the internet. Wow, Meng Chang'e, Han Zixuan, Sun Huanqing, Jiang Mai. I'm looking forward to this combination. I think it will definitely surpass the original version. Of course, they're a couple in real life. Of course, it will be better if they act as themselves. I'm so sad. My goddess is already taken. But why don't they announce it? They seem to have been in a scandal for a long time. This kind of thing should be caused by the male side, right? You know, if the male side really doesn't want to announce it, then Jiang Mai's character is really bad. They have been dating for so long, but he still doesn't give them a status? That day, Imperial Capital Royal Noble Hotel. The signing ceremony and press conference for Under the Heavens, which had received a lot of attention recently, finally began. Almost all the media had come out in full force, and the entire multi-purpose hall was filled to the brim. Even the walkways were filled with reporters with all kinds of cameras. Han Zixuan was wearing her signature red gown. Her long black hair complemented her snow-white skin. Coupled with her extremely beautiful face, the moment she appeared caused a wave of exclamations and killed countless films. Hello, everyone. Han Zixuan politely greeted all the media and then sat down on the seat with her name tag on the long table. Seated at the table were director Guo Qixing, assistant director Wang Linhai, producer Qin, and scriptwriter Yiling Long, Han Zixuan's agent Zheng Anru, and the two leading actors, Han Zixuan and Jiang Mai. Previously, Shang Wanningrong, Chu Beichun, and the other characters in the movie had already been selected and hyped up. Some used newcomers, while others used the characters from the original movie. Now, all that was left were the two main leads. At this moment, the others had already arrived, except for Jiang Mai and his agent. Chapter 1792. 10 minutes had passed since the start of the press conference, but Jiang Mai's team still hadn't arrived. Han Zixuan chatted with the director and the others from time to time. diverting everyone's attention and calmly alleviating the awkwardness caused by the male lead's tardiness. Jiang Mai is too arrogant, isn't he? How could he be late for such an important event? Exactly. He even let a girl come to smooth things over. Goddess Yixuan is so nice. Her EQ is so high. There are so few beautiful, smart, and good actresses these days. Another 10 minutes passed, and Jiang Mai finally arrived. Sorry. There was a traffic jam on the road, so I'm late. Sorry to keep you waiting. Lei Ming cupped his hands and apologized to the director, producer, and the media one by one. Obviously, he was very experienced in this kind of situation. After comforting everyone, Lei Ming led Jiang Mai to his seat and finally let out a sigh of relief. Jiang Mai looked like he had just woken up. He was casually wearing a wrinkled white t-shirt. He sat there casually with his legs apart, his arms resting on the back of the chair, his head tilted, and his peach blossom eyes slightly narrowed. However, Jiang Mai's appearance was just too outstanding. Even though he was in such a slovenly state, he was still extremely handsome. Moreover, his lazy, decadent, and unruly look was even more attractive than when he was dressed formally. The reporters, especially the female reporters, who had been quite critical of him just now, almost forgave him on the spot. Han Zixuan looked at Jiang Mai and frowned slightly. Senior Jiang, did you stay up late to read the script again? I heard from Director Gua that you attach great importance to this show. It seems that it's true. I'm looking forward to working with you this time. Her words not only helped Jiang Mai out of the awkward situation, but also flattered him. Ordinary people would definitely agree with her, not to mention facing such a great beauty. However, it was Jiang Mai. Jiang Mai didn't even open his eyes. You think too much. I just played games all night. Han Zixuan, Lei Ming. He really wanted to die. Forget it. Fortunately, this is just a private chat. At this time, the senior in charge of publicity picked up the script and began to speak. Well, since everyone is here, let's start the press conference. First of all, I'd like to thank all the fans and the media for their attention and love for Under the Heavens. Today, I have invited all of you here mainly to announce the two most important leading actors of our drama, as well as to hold the signing ceremony. In order to live up to everyone's expectations and trust, after 3 months of careful selection, the candidates for Meng Chang'e and Sun Huanqing were finally decided. The male lead was Jiang Mai, who played the role of Sun Huanqing. The female lead was the national goddess Han Zixuan, who had starred in many popular TV series such as Secret Love, Peach Blossom, Wolf Smoke Empire, and many others. In particular, Zixuan's performance as the Princess of Chang and in Wolf Smoke Empire made everyone believe that she was completely capable of playing the role of Meng Chang'e. I believe that after everyone sees these two candidates, they will be able to put their hearts at ease. The higher-ups enthusiastically finished their official speech and then said, "Now, it's time for free questions. If you have any questions, you can start asking them now." Finally, it was time for the segment that the media had been waiting for. Immediately, all the reporters began to raise their hands and ask questions. Chapter 1793. The first reporter who was picked said excitedly, "I'm asking this question on behalf of all the media and fans here. Zixuan and Mai, are you really together?" As soon as this question came out, it immediately caused quite a stir in the hall. After all, it was a big piece of gossip. Almost everyone's eyes shone with the light of gossip. The lazy look on Jiang Mai's face gradually froze. The first question was so explosive that Lei Ming broke out in a cold sweat. He stared at Jiang Mai closely, afraid that he would explode. At the same time, Lei Ming hurriedly answered, "Haha, it's just a misunderstanding. Don't think too much about it." How could the reporter be brushed off so easily? He immediately asked, "It's so obvious in the photos. I'm afraid it's not as simple as a misunderstanding." Lei Ming was about to say that he would give everyone a reasonable explanation when Han Zixuan's agent, Zheng Anru, spoke first. "I'm sorry. I understand that everyone is concerned about Zixuan. However, today is the press conference of the world. I hope everyone can focus on the issues related to the TV series." Lei Ming's face darkened when he heard this. The others couldn't tell, but how could he not understand the meaning behind these words? It seemed like he was trying to be a good person, but what was the difference between this and a silent agreement? Sure enough, although the reporters didn't continue to ask, their gazes became more ambiguous. It was obvious that they were almost certain about the relationship between the two. The reporters continued to ask questions. Zixuan, this is a remake after all. Are you nervous that you won't be able to surpass the original? The second reporter asked. This was undoubtedly the most difficult question for an actress who was going to participate in the remake. Han Zixuan's expression didn't change at all. She said calmly, I won't surpass anyone, and I don't need to surpass anyone. I am me. It was a short sentence, but it was confident and not arrogant. It immediately made a good impression on all the reporters present. Jiang Mai narrowed his eyes and glanced at the woman next to him. The corners of his mouth curled up in a sarcastic smile. The third reporter looked at Jiang Mai and asked, It's been almost 2 years since you played the role of Sun Huanqing again. How do you feel? Are you satisfied with your new co-star? Lei Ming secretly opened his palm and showed Jiang Mai the answer he had prepared. Jiang Mai's answer was, Do I have a choice? Lei Ming, forget it. To him, this answer is already very obedient. Mui likes to joke around. We're naturally very satisfied with the candidates selected by the professionals in the crew after 3 months, and we're looking forward to working with them in the future. Lei Ming hurriedly smoothed things over. No matter what happened, Han Zixuan always had a calm smile on her face. Zhang Anru looked at Jiang Mai, and her face darkened. Soon, everyone's questions were answered. Near the end, the host said, There's one last chance to ask a question. The one in the red shirt. The girl in red looked a little excited. She took a deep breath and stood up. She looked at Han Zixuan and said seriously, As you all know, The World is the famous work of movie queen Ningxi. She won the Golden Palm Award for Best Supporting Actress. Her performance of Meng Chang'e is superb and deeply rooted in people's hearts. Chapter 1794. For many old fans, Meng Chang'e, played by Ningxi, is their faith. Even if the ending of the movie is regrettable, regret is also a kind of beauty. Miss Zixuan, what do you think of the feelings of the fans of the original novel? This question was the same as the first one, but sharper. It even directly mentioned the name that had been almost forgotten by the public. It directly pointed out that Han Zixuan was inferior to Ningxi and would tarnish the image of Meng Chang'e in the hearts of the fans. Hearing that name and such a sharp question, Han Zixuan didn't have any special reaction, as if that person was just a name that didn't matter to her. At this time, Zhang Anru said, Please allow me to answer this question on behalf of Zixuan. Zhang Anru paused and then continued. The reason why I answer this question is that Zixuan doesn't know or understand the actress named Ningxi. In order to avoid being influenced by the original novel, Zixuan has never watched the original film. As Zixuan answered just now, Zixuan doesn't need to surpass anyone. She just wants to be the best of herself. Don't know. Don't understand? The sneer on Jiang Mai's face widened. She took over all of Ningxi's resources, imitated all of Ningxi's lines, stole most of Ningxi's fans, maliciously broke the contract, and left the company in order to get rid of Ningxi's limelight. Even the words she said to the reporter were a clumsy imitation of Ningxi's arrogant style. This is called not understanding. Speaking of this, Han Zixuan's agent looked a little displeased. She continued to say to the crowd, Since Zixuan debuted, she has experienced countless malicious slander. Because of her outstanding appearance, she has been compared with many other actresses who only have looks but nothing. However, time and strength can prove everything. Zixuan is not comparable to those inferior people who rely on their looks and bodies. This is an insult to Zixuan. Almost at the moment when Han Zixuan's voice fell, Jiang Mai's half-closed eyes suddenly opened, and an overwhelming coldness spread out. Lei Ming, who was standing aside, was almost scared out of his wits by Zhang Anru's words. Having been with Jiang Mai for so long, He clearly knew what Jiang Mai's bottom line was and what he absolutely couldn't touch, relying on her looks and bodies. Zheng Anru said this because when Ningxi first disappeared, many people suspected and maliciously spread rumors that Ningxi had a sugar daddy. Zheng Anru was obviously hinting at these things. Lei Ming was so anxious that his forehead was full of cold sweat. He stared at Jiang Mai, fearing that he would do something impulsive. However, this Zheng Anru was obviously one of Ningxi's artists. She had been stepping on Ningxi's head all the way, and she had also taken advantage of Jiang Mai's popularity to climb to the top. At this moment, she was still taking advantage of the fact that Ningxi had long retired and no one paid attention to her, speaking righteously and without fear. Here, I would like to make a solemn statement to all the media. I hope that no one will bring up these insulting questions in the future. Also, don't mention Zixuan's name along with those despicable people. Zheng Anru said the last sentence in a powerful voice. Lei Ming's hands trembled. He was so scared that he almost peed his pants. Seeing Jiang Mai sitting on the chair and playing with his phone, as if he didn't notice Zheng Anru's words, Lei Ming was slightly relieved. However, just as he heaved a sigh of relief, Jiang Mai put his phone back in his pocket, suddenly stood up, and strode directly to the door under everyone's gaze. Lei Ming and the rest of the crew, as well as the reporters, were all confused all of a sudden. Many people's phones vibrated and rang. They had set special reminders for the Weibo accounts of some important artists in the entertainment industry. Then, everyone saw that just a few seconds ago, Jiang Mai had updated his Weibo. Jiang Mai reposted a rumor about himself and Han Zixuan. In that rumor, there was a photo of them kissing, and he made up the love history of Jiang Mai and Han Zixuan affectionately. Between the lines, it was all about how infatuated Jiang Mai was with Han Zixuan. Chapter 1795. Lei Ming's heart skipped a beat when he saw the reaction of the reporters. He had an ominous premonition. He took out his cell phone with trembling hands, hoping that things might not be as bad as he had imagined. He comforted himself that he had been with Jiang Mai for so long and had seen all kinds of storms as a result. As soon as he saw those words, the burly man's body immediately swayed, and he almost burst into tears. "My God, are you trying to kill me?" At the same time, Zheng Anru, Han Zixuan, and the main cast members of the crew also saw Jiang Mai's Weibo post. Their faces were so dark that they couldn't bear to look at it. After a brief moment of shock, Guqixing shook his head and revealed a helpless but expected bitter smile. When those people mentioned Ningxi, he had a bad premonition. Sure enough, over the past year, Jiang Mai had calmed down a lot, even giving people the illusion that he had toned down his sharpness and become calm. But they forgot that Jiang Mai was still the same old Jiang Mai. In the hall, after a strange silence for a few seconds, the organizers of the press conference were besieged by the rioting reporters. All kinds of questions were thrown at them. "Excuse me, what happened? Why did Jiang Mai suddenly post such a Weibo post? Are the two leading actors on bad terms? Hey, don't go. Please explain." The organizers didn't expect such a big mess. They didn't have an emergency plan at all, so they could only ask everyone to retreat to avoid the crazy reporters. For a moment, the scene was in chaos. The culprit was nowhere to be found. Lei Ming narrowly escaped from the reporters. He hid in a deserted corridor and madly called Jiang Mai. But Jiang Mai's phone was out of service. His phone had already been flooded with calls from people from all walks of life. Just Isudong alone had called dozens of times. After all, Xianxia Entertainment was almost entirely supported by Jiang Mai. Now that his only son was in trouble, he couldn't atone for it even if he died 1,000 times. When Lin Jiji was still alive, Jiang Mai would at least listen to her. But now Ningxi was gone. Lu Jingli had already returned to the company and left everything behind. Even Lin Jiji had disappeared after Ningxi retired. He was really alone and helpless now, dear town. The bedroom was empty, and there was no sign of the girl. Lu Tingxiao was standing at the door with a bowl of ginseng soup in his hand. The bowl suddenly slipped out of his hand and smashed beside his feet. "Ah, sweetheart, what's wrong with you? Are you hurt?" Hearing the girl's voice behind him, Lu Tingxiao suddenly turned around and pulled the girl into his arms. The man's heartbeat was abnormally fast, and his breathing was rapid and chaotic. His hot breath sprayed on the girl's neck. Before Ning, she was pressed into Lu Tingxiao's arms. She seemed to see the panic and frailty on his face that she had never seen before. Was it because she had gone out for a while, and he suddenly realized that she was not there? Was that why he was so nervous? Ever since she woke up, Lu Tingxiao seemed to be like this. Whenever she was slightly out of his sight, he would be like a bird startled by the mere twang of a bough. Xiao Bao was the same. He didn't want to leave her for even a moment. It didn't matter. She had enough time to accompany them and make up for the long time that she had been missing. Chapter 1796. Apart from that, she had one more important thing to do after waking up. It was something that she regretted not doing in advance during the period of time she had been unconscious. Ning, she rolled her eyes, took Lu Tingxiao's hand, and said with a sparkling face, "Sweetheart, come with me. I found a place with very good scenery. It's very suitable for us to talk about love. Shall I take you to have a look?" Lu Tingxiao didn't doubt her. His tone was full of affection and indulgence. Okay. Lu Tingxiao put a coat on Ning Shi, and then they walked towards the forest behind the lake. Along the way, Ning Shi kept talking to Lu Tingxiao. No matter what she said, Lu Tingxiao listened attentively and responded seriously. The deeper they went into the forest, the quieter it was, and the better the scenery was. Ning Shi's hand holding Lu Tingxiao's hand gradually started to sweat out of nervousness. Damn it, he was an experienced flirt. Why was he so timid at such a critical moment? No, let's go wild. They walked through the flowers and leaves and walked through the forest full of the scent of vegetation. Suddenly, their vision widened and they saw a vast sea of flowers in front of them. The spring breeze was blowing, forming layers of flower petals. She had found this place when she looked out of the window. She had sneaked out of the house just now to take a look. Suddenly seeing such a large sea of flowers, Lu Tingxiao's face showed a trace of amazement. Although he had lived here for more than a month, he had never set foot in any other place except for the garden building where she lived. "Sweetheart, is it beautiful?" Lu Tingxiao looked at the sea of flowers reflected in the girl's eyes. Yes. Ning, she looked up at the man in front of her. Lu Tingxiao. Ning, she had never called his name so seriously before. Lu Tingxiao couldn't help but tense up. He looked at her quietly, waiting for her next words. Ning, she took a deep breath and said, "Before I met you, I just lived to survive and to fulfill my dreams. As for what I should do after everything is done, what is the meaning of my life? I have never thought about it. Even if I die now, I probably have no regrets." Hearing this, Lu Tingxiao narrowed his eyes. Ning, she chuckled, gazed at the man in front of her, and continued, "But I met you in Lil Bao. For the first time, I knew what it felt like to be needed. For the first time, I knew that I could be weak, capricious, and just be myself. I could love and live like an ordinary person." The girl stood on her tiptoes and kissed the corner of the man's lips. Lu Tingxiao, being the center of attention, can't compare to being the only one in your heart. You're the most beautiful and warmest encounter I've had in my life. Lu Tingxiao, let's get married. The sea of flowers rose and fell in the wind, and butterflies flew all over the mountain. Lu Tingxiao's mind seemed to have been shaken out of his head in an instant. His whole body stiffened, and he was kissed by the girl. He did not move at all, and he lost all ability to react. What did he hear? The man didn't respond for a long time. No matter how experienced Ning she was, she couldn't stand it anymore. Her palms were sweating. "You haven't told me your answer yet." After a long time, the man finally recovered from the great ecstasy that almost swallowed him up. He answered in a trembling voice, "Madam, I'm afraid. I can't do it." Chapter 1797. "I'm afraid I can't do it. Can't do it." Ning, she only noticed Lu Tingxiao's words. Her face paled and she stood there in a daze. She used all her self-control to calm herself down and forced herself to ask why. Lu Tingxiao pulled his hand out of the girl's little hand, then spread it out in front of her with the back of his hand facing upwards. Under the sunlight, Ningxi could clearly see that Lu Tingxiao was wearing a low-key and simple ring on his ring finger. That was a wedding ring? In that instant, countless possibilities flashed through Ningxi's mind, but she had never expected the result to be like this. Lu Tingxiao was already married? That ring was so low-key that she hadn't noticed it all this time? You're married? Ningxi simply didn't know why she asked this question. Yes. Lu Tingxiao gave an affirmative answer. Ningxi's eyes suddenly emitted a fierce, murderous aura. She was completely confused. Who is that woman? She. Lu Tingxiao paused and then looked at the girl attentively. She's the cutest, kindest, and most dazzling girl I've ever seen in my life. The girl in front of him clenched her fists and was about to turn into an evil dragon. When we first met, she was very cute when she questioned me about liking men. When I proposed to repay her with my body, she was very cute when she fled. She clearly likes me, but doesn't mean it. It was very cute when she said it. Hearing this, Ningxi's expression suddenly froze. My wife is very cute when she calls me Lu Tingxiao. She's very cute when she calls me boss. She's also very cute when she calls me sweetheart. She's standing in front of me now, as if she wants to bite me to death. Very cute. Finally, Ningxi was completely stunned. It took her a while to find her voice. What do you mean? Lu Tingxiao took out another ring from his pocket and gently put it back on the girl's ring finger. I'm already married to you. Ningxi stared at the ring that suddenly appeared on her finger. It was clearly a pair of rings with Lu Tingxiao's. What? I'm sorry. Your body was a little swollen, and I was worried that it would affect your blood flow, so I temporarily took off the wedding ring. As for our marriage certificate, it's with Xiao Bao. He has to hug it every night to sleep. I'll get Xiao Bao to show it to you later. What? She could recognize every single word that Lu Tingxiao said, but why couldn't she understand them when they were put together? Ningxi felt like an idiot. Wait a minute. You mean, you're already married? You're marrying me? And we even got our marriage certificate? How can I not know anything? Did I lose my memory? When you were in a coma for 3 months, the doctor gave you a comprehensive diagnosis and said that you had almost no chance of waking up. That day, I proposed to you in front of your hospital bed, and we got married, Lu Tingxiao explained. Ningxi, so she really married him a long time ago? Then why did she stupidly run over to propose to him? No wonder Lu Tingxiao said he couldn't do it. Oh, right, he seemed to have called her madam from the beginning. She did not notice it. And Lu Jingli, although he used to call her sister-in-law occasionally, he still called her sister-in-law after he woke up at this moment. Ningxi was completely dumbfounded. She had purposely come here to confess her love and propose. But after being nervous for half a day, she found out that the person who proposed to her was already her husband? How could she be so pitiful? No, was there anyone with such heaven-defying luck as her? Chapter 1798. Sorry, I didn't ask for your permission. Lu Tingxiao was about to apologize for making the decision without her permission. However, the next second, the girl stared at the ring on her finger and exclaimed with shining eyes, "Oh my God! This young master's luck was simply too heaven-defying. I proposed to you for a long time, but it turns out that you are mine." Lu Tingxiao smiled helplessly. This girl's brain circuit was always different from that of ordinary people. But I was almost scared to death by you. I thought you really married another woman. Ningxi complained. Lu Tingxiao looked at the girl in front of him quietly. If I really married another woman, what would you do? Hearing this question, Ningxi raised her eyebrows, and her beautiful eyes were dazzling. How could it be possible? I'm so kind, lovely, and well-behaved. You must be out of your mind to marry another woman. The corners of Lu Tingxiao's mouth curled up as he chuckled hoarsely. Yes, madam is right. Hearing Lu Tingxiao calling her madam, Ningxi felt the softest part of her heart go numb. She happily threw herself at him and hugged him. I like it when you call me madam. One more time. Lu Tingxiao coughed slightly and looked a bit unnatural. Madam. Ningxi was finally satisfied. However, she soon thought of a very important question and asked seriously, "Is there anything I don't know?" A lot of things happen when you were in a coma. Lu Tingxiao said. He didn't tell her too much at once, because he was afraid that she would be confused if she received too much information as soon as she woke up. Ningxi immediately urged, "What happened? Hurry up and tell me." The two of them chatted as they slowly walked back. And the Zhuang family. The Zhuang family? What about the Zhuang family? Ningxi was puzzled. At the beginning, this was not the place where you recuperated. It was the sanatorium in the military area of the capital. Later, I was afraid that you would get tired of it, so I changed it to this place. I hope it can help your condition. Lu Tingxiao replied. Did the Zhuang family help me to enter the military sanatorium? Ningxi asked. Yes, the Zhuang family has all known your identity and regarded you as a family member. They have been looking after you and trying to wake you up this year. Ningxi was a bit surprised. Even Ku'er and Rongguang know about it? Yes. Lu Tingxiao nodded. He didn't say much about the conflict with the Zhuang family, so that she wouldn't worry. So, we need to keep the matter of you waking up a secret for now. However, we still need to inform the Zhuang family. I've already asked Jingli to inform them. Yes, of course. Ningxi nodded. Ningxi was waiting for Lu Tingxiao to continue, but found that Lu Tingxiao didn't speak anymore, so she thought about her words and asked, I heard from Jing Li and Xiao Bao that your father's health is not very good these days. Lu Tingxiao was silent for a moment before he nodded. The situation isn't looking good. We're barely holding on with medicine. My parents are very grateful to you for saving Xiao Bao, and they have always been very sorry for you. Other than that, Lu Tingxiao didn't say anything else. When the two of them walked to the door, they bumped into Lu Jingli, who was getting out of the car and walking toward the courtyard. When Lu Jingli saw the two of them, he ran over, panting. Brother, I've informed the Zhuang family. Mom and Dad know about it too. Lu Jingli glanced at Ningxi and said hesitantly, Well, Dad said he wants to see sister-in-law. So does Mom. She said she has something to give sister-in-law. Chapter 1799. Lu Tingxiao frowned and was about to refuse when Ningxi stopped him and said, They are your parents, not monsters. It's not a big deal to meet them. Since she and Lu Tingxiao were in such a relationship, she couldn't keep avoiding them. Lu Jingli nodded. Yes. Sister-in-law, my parents are much better now. They are very grateful to you. My father rejected all the rich young ladies who came to discuss marriage, and my mother, in the past year, in order to pray for you, sister-in-law, she almost trampled all the temples in the country. You don't know, but my brother found out what Guanziao did behind the scenes and exposed it to my parents. Su Yimo's plastic surgery and the chef poisoning Xiao Bao on the day of the blind date were all done by the Guan family. They even said in private that the first thing they would do after they entered the family was to kill Xiao Bao. Guning thought to herself, You don't know. By the way, when Xiao Bao was in danger, Guanziao must have let go of Xiao Bao and let those people take Xiao Bao away out of selfishness. My parents already know that they were wrong. They know that they have misjudged you. My dad regrets not believing my brother back then. My mom has been blaming herself for misunderstanding you. Just now, when I want to tell them that you were awake, my dad was lying on the bed and couldn't move at all. But when he heard that you were awake, he immediately sat up and said that he wanted to see you. My mom almost threw a tantrum and insisted on coming with me. Ningxi didn't know whether to laugh or cry at Lu Jingli's words. How could he say that about his parents? Sister-in-law, believe me, I won't cheat you. We can meet. Lu Jingli said seriously. Ningxi narrowed her eyes. You won't cheat me? Why didn't you tell me that I was married to your brother? Lu Jingli was dumbfounded. Yes, you didn't know, but you can't blame me. I didn't think of it at all. You have been my sister-in-law for more than a year, and I'm used to it. I didn't think of it, Lu Jingli said and looked at them cautiously. What's wrong? Is something wrong? Ningxi snorted. I just took your brother to a very romantic sea of flowers at the back and prepared a lot of affectionate confessions to propose to your brother. But your brother told me that he couldn't do it because he was already married. Do you know how confused I was at that time? Lu Jingli frowned and said, Then do you want me to feel like I'm in so much pain from all of your dog food right now? Please spare my worthless life. By the way, dumbass, tell me what happened at that time. How did your brother marry me? She couldn't get the details from Lu Tingxiao, so she immediately asked Lu Jingli. Lu Tingxiao looked at Lu Jingli and coughed lightly. Lu Jingli didn't notice his brother's expression at all and immediately sold him out. Sister-in-law, you don't know. At that time, everyone thought you would never wake up. The Zhuang family even said that my brother didn't need to wait and that they would take care of you for the rest of your life. In the end, Gert domineeringly took out the ring and knelt in front of your bed to propose to you. At that time, the Zhuang family, my parents, and your manager were all present. My brother made the vow in front of everyone, proposed, and put on the ring for you. He even arranged for someone to get the marriage certificate done immediately. Chapter 1800. She listened with a smile, but tears welled up in her eyes at the end. Hey, sister-in-law, why are you crying? Did I say something wrong? Lu Jingli was originally talking happily, but when he saw this, he immediately became anxious. Lu Tingxiao's face also changed. What's wrong? Nothing. She shook her head. She just felt an indescribable pain in her heart when she thought about how Lu Tingxiao had completed the task that should have been done by two people all by himself. The three of them discussed for a while and finally decided to meet tonight. After Lu Jingli left, she immediately went to find Xiaobao to check the marriage certificate. The little boy stared at She and couldn't bear to close his eyes. He didn't fall asleep until the next morning. She kissed the little boy's sleeping face and asked Lu Tingxiao softly, "Where is it?" Lu Tingxiao held up his son's head and took out 2 red booklets from under the pillow. Xiaobao frowned, but probably because he sensed his mother's familiar scent, he soon rubbed the back of his mother's hand and slept soundly. She opened the marriage certificate carefully and looked at it over and over again. As she read, she murmured, "Oh, is this a fake certificate?" Lu Tingxiao's face darkened. It's true. She looked at it curiously for a long time. It was amazing that she woke up and found herself married. The photo was taken when she and Lu Tingxiao were on a date. He also had his way to get the ID, and the autograph was indeed hers. Are you sure you want to see them? Lu Tingxiao asked with a frown. She closed the marriage certificate in her hand, looked at the man in front of her seriously, and said, Lu Tingxiao, you always told me to leave everything to you, but now we are husband and wife. No matter what the problem is, we should face it together. The words, "we are husband and wife," made the man's face full of tenderness. At night, Shi, Lu Tingxiao, and Xiaobao went back to the old mansion. As soon as they arrived at the door, they saw that the entire old house and the courtyard had changed. As soon as the car stopped, the housekeeper and servants came out to greet them happily. They called out in unison, "Eldest young master, eldest young mistress." Just from his servant's attitude, he knew that the 2 elders must have told him something. To some extent, the servant's attitude also represented the 2 elders' attitude. Soon, an elegant woman rushed out of the house. It was Yen Rui. When Yen Rui saw Shi, she was stunned at first, and then her eyes turned red. Then she quickly walked out and took Shi's hand excitedly. "Xiaoxi is here. Why are you wearing so little? Are you cold? Tingxiao, why don't you put on more clothes for your wife? It's already spring, and it's freezing." Hearing this, Lu Tingxiao obediently put another coat on Shi's shoulders, who was already tightly wrapped. Lu Jingli shook his head and sighed. "There's a kind of coldness that makes your mother think that you're cold." Yen Rui immediately glared at her youngest son. "Your sister-in-law's health is weak now. I've already said that I'll go there myself, but you won't let me. Who will take care of her if she's tired?" Lu Jingli was speechless. Sure enough, single people had no status in the family. "Xiaoxi, come in and have a bowl of chicken soup to warm yourself up. I went to the kitchen and cooked it for a few hours." Yen Rui enthusiastically took Shi's arm and led her into the house, completely forgetting about her 2 sons. Only Xiaobao was barely remembered. Yen Rui reminded him, "Xiaobao, come here." Chapter 1801. Not long after they entered the door, they suddenly saw Lu Chongshan shakily walking down the stairs with the help of a servant. When Lu Chongshan saw the girl his wife was holding intimately, he was so excited that he started trembling. "Dad, why did you get out of bed?" Lu Jingli hurried to help him. Lu Chongshan waved his hand with a straight face. "I'm not that weak." Lu Jingli was speechless. "Not yet. Yesterday, you were still lying on the bed and couldn't move. Even when you were eating, Xiaobao had to coax you so that you could barely eat. You brat. Okay, I was wrong. You're not that weak. You even have the strength to scold me. Sit down." After everyone sat down, no one spoke at the dinner table, and the atmosphere was a bit awkward. Yin Rui anxiously shot a look at her husband, telling him not to keep a straight face and remain silent. Lu Chongshan didn't know what to say. After a while, he coughed and looked at his son, asking, "Tingxiao, how is your wife? Have you checked her?" "Yes, she's fine. She just needs rehabilitation and rest for a while," Lu Tingxiao said. That's good. Lu Chongshan let out a long sigh of relief, as if a mountain that had been pressing on his head for a long time was finally released. "Okay, let's eat first. Let's talk after dinner. Don't let Xiaoxi and Xiaobao be hungry." Yin Rui kept putting food into Ningxi's bowl. Xiaobao and Lu Tingxiao also put food into Ningxi's bowl, and soon Ningxi's bowl was piled up. At this time, Lu Chongshan said, "Give your wife some latex glossy Ganodermis soup." Before Ningxi came here, she had prepared herself mentally and prepared to deal with it. However, after she arrived, she found that the change in their attitude towards her was even more exaggerated than what Lu Jingli had told her before. She didn't know how to deal with it, so in order to cover up her helplessness, she could only keep eating. After dinner, Yin Rui took Ningxi's hand and said earnestly, "Cici, can I talk to you alone?" Hearing this, before Ningxi could say anything, Lu Tingxiao frowned. Yin Rui knew what her son was thinking when she saw his face. "Why are you frowning? Why would I eat your wife? Xiaoxi is also my daughter-in-law. Okay?" Lu Tingxiao pinched his eyebrows. "That's not what I meant. I gave birth to you. How could I not know what you mean?" Seeing that the mother and son were about to quarrel, Ningxi winked at Lu Tingxiao and coughed. "Madam Lu, let's ignore him. Just tell me what you want to say." Since his wife had spoken, Lu Tingxiao had no choice but to compromise. Yin Rui held Ningxi's arm and walked to the beautiful greenhouse in the backyard. There was hot flour and fruit tea brewing on the round table in the middle. "Try this flour and fruit tea. It's refreshing and helps digestion." "Thank you." Looking at Ningxi's courteous manner, Yin Rui's face was a little gloomy. However, seeing that the girl had finally woken up after a year of sleep, her eyes were filled with joy and relief. "Bodhisattva has blessed you. It's been a year, and you're finally awake. I'll go to all the temples to fulfill my vows." Yin Rui's tone was full of emotion. After a moment of silence, she said, "Cici, on the one hand, I asked you to come here today to thank you for everything you have done for Xiaobao and Tingxiao. On the other hand, I want to apologize to you. Tingxiao's father and I have misunderstood you too much. In addition, there is something I want to explain to you." Chapter 1802. Ningxi realized that what Yin Rui was about to say might be very important, so she listened quietly. Yin Rui let out a long sigh. "Xiaoxi, actually, things aren't what you think they are. When we first found out that Tingxiao and Xiaobao liked each other, Tingxiao's father and I were so happy, until we found out that you were an actress. Was it because of my profession?" Ningxi asked. Yin Rui shook her head. "Later, we objected to Tingxiao being with you and Xiaobao being too close to you, not because of your family background or your profession, or rather, it was because of your profession, but it wasn't because of what you think. We thought we were better than others and looked down on the people in the entertainment industry. In fact, we all respect those who work hard in the industry. I used to chase after stars myself, and I still have some old actors that I like." At this point, Yin Rui paused for a moment before continuing. "The reason why I'm biased against actors is because of the kidnapping of Xiao Bao back then." Hearing this, Ningxi's expression changed, and she continued to listen with a serious look on her face. It was a big deal back then and was one of the biggest taboos in the Liu family, so we never mentioned it to anyone and erased all traces of it. But Xiaoxi, you are not an outsider. You are Ting Xiao's wife and the daughter-in-law of the Liu family. There are many things that I want you to know. As for what you think after you know, that's up to you. Ningxi knew a little about Xiao Bao's kidnapping, but she knew it was a secret, so she had never looked into it. Yan Rui looked like she was reminiscing. She took a deep breath and continued. Ting Xiao has always been a loner since he was young. His personality has always been cold and distant. Even when he was of marriageable age, he had never dated a girl, nor did he have the intention to. Because of this, his father and I were worried sick. We tried everything we could to get him married, but to no avail. His father and I had already given up and felt hopeless. We even thought that Ting Xiao, a him, might not like girls. But at that time, Xiao Bao appeared. Yan Rui's eyes were filled with tenderness and love when she mentioned Xiao Bao. You can imagine how happy our family was to have Xiao Bao. Xiao Bao is so adorable. The only regret is that this child does not have a mother by his side. Yan Rui sighed. Back then, Xiao Bao was sent directly to the Liu family's doorstep. When he arrived, he didn't have anything with him other than a note saying that he was Ting Xiao's child. In such a ridiculous and confusing situation, I only needed a glance at Xiao Bao once, and I immediately believed him. After all, this child looked too similar to Ting Xiao when he was young. Later, I did a paternity test, and it was confirmed that he was Ting Xiao's child. Ting Xiao should have told you how Xiao Bao came to be. Don't misunderstand Ting Xiao. We were just trying everything we could think of in a moment of desperation. Ting Xiao wasn't willing either. At that time, Jingli went to investigate the girls he had originally arranged, but he still couldn't find Xiao Bao's birth mother. Until Xiao Bao was 3 years old, a woman appeared. Hearing this, Ningxi's expression froze. A woman? Chapter 1803. Yan Rui deliberated for a moment before she said to Ningxi, "That woman is an actress just like you." Ningxi frowned. She could vaguely understand why the Lius were so prejudiced against actors. Actually, our Xiao Bao's character is not as cold as Ting Xiao's. On the contrary, he is much livelier than Ting Xiao. Although he is quiet when he meets something he is interested in and is able to focus on his research and learning, he is still very lively most of the time. He has a sweet tongue and is very good at making people happy. Yan Rui's face was filled with tenderness when she mentioned this. However, her expression quickly dimmed. Although we have always protected Xiao Bao well, he is still more intelligent than other children. When he was a little older, he realized that he was different. He knew that he was the same as other children, that he did not have a mother. Ningxi felt her heart wrench at Yan Rui's words. At first, Xiao Bao did ask about it. However, we were put in a difficult position every time he asked. He was very good at reading our expressions and stopped asking. However, he still cared about it. Moreover, Ting Xiao was not someone who knew how to take care of children. Back then, he was very busy with work and was often overseas. Hence, Xiao Bao did not receive much love from his parents. Yan Rui sighed deeply before she said, "At that time, that woman suddenly came looking for us and said that she was Xiao Bao's birth mother." Ningxi was shocked. Xiao Bao's birth mother. Yan Rui nodded. Yes, that woman was very pure and pretty. She looked very innocent too. She told us everything that happened in detail. She said that she knew that she would not be able to marry into the Liu family given her status. However, if the child were to stay, her job would be over. Hence, she had no choice but to send Xiao Bao to the Liu family. She said that she had missed Xiao Bao all these years and could not hold back her longing for her own flesh and blood. Xiao Bao was young and inexperienced. We had protected him well, and he was a kind and soft-hearted child. Moreover, he had wanted a mother for a long time and fell in love with that woman at first sight. As for Ting Xiao, he was very afraid of what happened that night, and we did not dare to mention it in front of him. Moreover, he did not know who the woman was. Hence, we asked Jingli. Jingli said that this girl was indeed one of the girls he had arranged for her. Moreover, we saw that Xiao Bao liked her so much and got along well with her, so we almost believed what the girl said at that time. Then what happened next? Thinking of what happened to Xiao Bao, Ning, she almost didn't dare to continue listening. Yin Rui closed her eyes with a pained expression. Then it was a nightmare. That girl was too good at acting, too good at pretending. In a short time, she won the love of everyone in our family, especially Xiao Bao. Xiao Bao's grandfather and I were thinking that since Xiao Bao likes her so much, it doesn't matter if it's her family background, identity, or occupation. As long as Xiao Bao likes her, and as long as her family background is clean, it wouldn't be a problem for Ting Xiao to marry her. Even if Ting Xiao isn't willing, we've decided to let this girl stay in the Lu family and accompany Xiao Bao. Perhaps Ting Xiao might change his mind. Chapter 1804. Ning, she could tell from Yin Rui's tone that the girl seemed to be an imposter, so she asked, "Didn't you do a DNA test on the girl and Xiao Bao?" Yin Rui's face was full of regret when she heard Ning Shi's words. We were too excited and happy at first, so we didn't suspect anything. After all, Xiao Bao could only have been born that night. We didn't expect that someone would dare to come to the Lu family and lie to us. Later, as the girl and Xiao Bao got closer and closer, we thought about doing a DNA test on them, but Xiao Bao rejected us every time. That woman coaxed Xiao Bao so much that he was completely obedient to her. And we were naturally happy to see Xiao Bao happy, so we tried our best to go along with him. With the mentality of love me, love my dog, we treated the girl well. About this, didn't Ting Xiao say anything at the time? Ning, she was confused. Yin Rui sighed. Ting Xiao hated to talk about what happened in the past, so how could he care about this girl? At the time, he only asked us to do a DNA test and didn't say anything else. What I regretted the most was that because of my blind confidence and trust in that girl, I didn't confirm it again. It wasn't until Ting Xiao came back and asked to see the DNA test results immediately that we thought about it and decided to do it. So we brought it up again. Xiao Bao even had a huge fight with us over this, but the girl calmed him down. She said it was fine and cooperated with the doctor to take a blood sample. At the time, we really thought we were overthinking things. We even blamed Ting Xiao for being too cold and harsh and hurting Xiao Bao and the girl's heart. Yin Rui seemed to have recalled something as her voice trembled. In the end, on the night we were waiting for the DNA test results, Xiao Bao was kidnapped. The atmosphere in the greenhouse froze when she heard this. Yin Rui calmed down after a while. After the investigation, we found out that this girl was the mastermind of a senior executive who had been kicked out of the company by Ting Xiao for embezzlement. Although we rushed over in time to stop the tragedy from happening and Xiao Bao wasn't hurt, he was still hurt by someone he trusted and relied on. Since then, Xiao Bao has completely shut himself off. As for us, we don't dare to trust anyone's word so easily. We've even ordered Jing Li not to get too close to any of his artists. With that, Yin Rui held Ning Shi's hand tightly. "Cici, I'm really sorry. What happened back then really hit us so hard that everyone looks like a bad guy to us, especially you. You're so similar to that girl. You're so similar to that girl. We hoped that Ting Xiao could find a suitable mother for Xiao Bao. On one hand, it was because our family needed one. On the other hand, we felt that if the two families were of the same social status and knew each other well, at least the tragedy wouldn't repeat itself. On top of that, there was a serious internal strife in our family. Everything added up and ultimately led to this tragedy. Until you used your life to wake us up, to walk out of the shadows and stubbornness of the past. I know that some of the damage has been done and can't be undone. I don't expect you to accept such a terrible father-in-law and mother-in-law. All I want is for you to wake up and for you to live a good life with Ting Xiao and Xiao Bao in the future." Tears welled up in Yin Rui's eyes as she removed a bangle from her wrist. This is a jade bangle that has been passed down in the Lu family for generations. It is passed down to every matriarch of the family. Now, I'm handing it over to you. I hope you can accept it. Chapter 1805. As Yin Rui spoke, he looked at the girl with an extremely nervous expression. Ningxi looked at the bracelet quietly. After a while, she took it carefully and said softly, "Thank you, Granny." The moment he said that, Yin Rui's expression froze. Then, the tears that she had been suppressing for a long time rolled down her cheeks as she trembled and sobbed. Ningxi patted the woman's shoulder gently. After all, Lu Chongshan and Yin Rui didn't have bad intentions. They did everything for their children and grandchildren. Besides, they hadn't done anything to hurt her so far. Besides, they were Lu Tingxiao's parents and Xiaobao's grandparents. It took Yin Rui a long time to stop crying. She held Ningxi's hand and refused to let go. "Cici, don't worry. As long as Tingxiao's father and I are alive, you will be the eldest daughter-in-law of the Lu family. No one can shake your position. Even if Xiaobao's real mother appears in the future, you will be Xiaobao's only mother." Outside the greenhouse, as soon as Xiaobao saw Ningxi come out, he ran towards his mother. Ningxi immediately held the little boy in her arms, her face full of heartache. How hard it would be to open up to a person who had trusted her wholeheartedly, but was betrayed. How precious was it to have such dependence and trust. "We're finally done talking. If you don't come out, these two are going to tear down the house." Lu Jingli was muttering when he saw the familiar jade bracelet on Ningxi's wrist. He immediately rushed over to it, as if he had found a treasure. "Wow, Mom, you're so generous this time. You even gave her this thing?" Yin Rui punched Lu Jingli's shoulder grumpily. "Nonsense. Cici is the daughter-in-law of the Lu family. This bracelet should be passed on to her," Yin Rui said and looked at her eldest son seriously. "Tingxiao, come here. I have something to tell you too." Lu Tingxiao glanced at his wife and child, then followed his mother to a place not far away. After walking a little farther, Yin Rui said with a straight face, "Just now, I've explained to Cici that someone pretended to be Xiaobao's birth mother and kidnapped him. I've also told her that no matter what kind of woman appears in the future, even if Xiaobao's real birth mother appears, Cici is still Xiaobao's only mother and the only lady of the Lu family. No accident can happen to her, and Cici can't be hurt." As Yin Rui spoke, she pinched the space between her brows in a melancholy manner. She was afraid that everything that was stable and happy would be destroyed again. Lu Tingxiao gave his mother a meaningful look. "Don't worry, I won't." Now the truth that Ningxi was Xiaobao's birth mother was no longer important. But he still couldn't figure out the identity and purpose of the person who had placed Xiaobao in the Lu family after such a long time. But from some clues, he had more or less guessed something, and because of the vague guess in his heart, he couldn't let too many people, especially Ningxi, know about this after talking with his mother. Lu Tingxiao was about to go to Ningxi when his cell phone suddenly rang. Lu Tingxiao saw the caller ID and frowned. Gong Xianxia. Since Ningxi fell into a coma, Zhe Ling had been operating steadily, but Gong Xianxia had a serious problem. He gradually fell into a bottleneck and was unable to create new designs. As the core of the whole company, the exhaustion of designers' inspiration was almost fatal to the company, which led to Zhe Ling's plan to go public being put on hold. Chapter 1806. "Hello, Mr. Lu." A hoarse and haggard voice came from the other end. Sorry to disturb you. I'm calling you today because there's something I want to ask you." "Go ahead." The voice on the other end of the phone seemed to have struggled and hesitated for a long time before finally saying, "Mr. Lu, I want to resign." Lu Tingxiao frowned slightly. "I'm not your boss and have no right to approve your request." The young man's tone was a little anxious. "But you're the only one who can make this decision on behalf of the boss. If I continue to sit in this position, I can only ruin Zhe Ling. After I resign, with your ability, you can definitely find a better designer for Zhe Ling." Lu Tingxiao pinched between his eyebrows and didn't speak. He didn't reveal the truth of Ningxi's disappearance to Zhe Ling. As for how Gong Xianxia and the others guessed it, he didn't know. Han Momo and Xiao Weilong were fine on their side. Although there were some twists and turns at the beginning, they managed to pull through in the end and steadily operated the company. However, Ningxi's departure had a huge impact on Xianxia. After all, designers were emotional, especially Ningxi, who was like a religion to Xianxia. Now that this faith had suddenly left without a trace, one could imagine the impact on him. He could still help a little in the dark regarding the company's operations, but the inspiration of a designer was something that even he couldn't interfere with. When Ningxi asked about Zhe Ling's situation, he didn't mention much about Xianxia's situation. Now it seemed that he couldn't keep it a secret any longer. After ending the call with Xianxia, Lu Tingxiao hesitated for a moment before finally telling Ningxi what had happened. Xianxia called me just now. Zhe, what did he say? Ningxi asked immediately. He wants to resign. What? Ningxi's expression changed. Why would he resign out of nowhere? Lu Tingxiao glanced at the girl. Actually, Xianxia hasn't been doing too well this year. After you disappeared, his condition worsened until he hit a bottleneck. He hasn't been able to create a satisfactory design for half a year. Originally, I didn't want you to worry, so I didn't tell you immediately. I wanted to wait until you recovered, but now, I'm afraid you'll have to handle this matter. How could this be? Ningxi pinched her brows and said, I'll go find him now. Lu Tingxiao had a helpless look on his face. He knew that she would be like this when she found out. Seeing Lu Tingxiao frowning, Ningxi went over to hug him and said softly, Honey, don't always treat me as if I'm made of glass, okay? This is not acting. I don't need to waste my physical strength and energy. I don't need to draw the design drawings or do the accounting. I won't be tired. What's more, there had to be a start and an end to things. The spirits were the blood and sweat of many of us. I didn't even say goodbye to them and left them to lie in bed for a year. It was indeed my fault. Since I'm awake now, I should be able to answer to the people who work together with me. They definitely won't reveal my situation. Besides, you're still here. Finally, Lu Tingxiao sighed and said, I'll go with you. In fact, when Ningxi said the first two words, he was already destined to compromise. Chapter 1807. At the same time, at Eaton Bar, the private room was filled with people's voices and toasts. Come, let's all give a toast to our great designer Dai. Cheers! Cheers! Our history took the lead in last quarter's sales again. Director Dai's contribution is undeniable. That Zieling guy completely copied our style and even tried to steal our market share. Our director Dai will teach him a lesson. Ha ha ha. The private room was filled with compliments. Dai Wei's face was red from drinking. He was talking to his subordinates and colleagues with a smile on his face. I've said before, a designer's career is not determined by who can go the fastest, but who can go the farthest. Director Dai's words are priceless. I'll write them down now so that those arrogant newbies can see what a real designer is. What kind of genius designer is that? Hiding his head and showing his tail, pretending to be mysterious. In the end, he's just a short-lived dabbler. We've only exchanged a few rounds, and he's already beaten by Boss Dai to the point that he doesn't even dare to leave his house. Ha ha! Zieling hasn't released a new design in half a year. I think it's not long before it goes bankrupt. Dai Wei was flattered, but he did not lose his head. He looked at the woman in the middle of the sofa and said, I'm only responsible for the design. It's all because of Miss Ning's wise leadership that our company can achieve what it is today. When the others heard this, they hurriedly flattered Ning Shueluo in various ways. Our boss is not only the CFO of Ning Family International, but also the Deputy General Manager of Starlight Entertainment. It's not an exaggeration to say that she's a female Zhuge. Tell me, which lady in the entire capital can compare to our boss? Ning Shuo sipped her red wine elegantly in the middle of the sofa. All right, stop flattering me. Everyone has worked hard during this period. We'll all get a triple bonus this month. As soon as he finished speaking, the entire room immediately burst into excited cheers. Ning Shuo took out a bunch of car keys from her bag and tossed them to Dai Wei. Our director Dai is the biggest contributor. There's no doubt about that. Wow, a Ferrari. Boss, you're so rich. Boss Dai, let me drive it later. Me too. Me too. Let me drive it too. Dai Wei's face lit up with joy, and he quickly took it. Thank you, boss. Ning Shuluo smiled. As long as you follow me with your heart and work hard for the sake of the company's profits, I'll treat everyone equally. Thank you, boss. Follow the boss, and you'll have meat to eat. Boss, we will definitely work hard. Shine for the company. For the sake of the company, Dai Wei said confidently. Don't worry, boss. During this International Spring-Summer Fashion Week, I will make sure that Zhe Ling will never have a chance to rise again. I don't want it to be an eyesore. Ning Luo replied indifferently. That doesn't matter. Dai Wei chimed in, Boss, you're right. Zealing doesn't even deserve our attention. This year was undoubtedly the most fulfilling year of Dai Wei's life. Initially, he was overwhelmed by Zhe Ling, scolded by Ning Shuluo every day, and ridiculed by his peers. What worried him the most was his biggest secret, the mysterious designer whose design style was exactly the same as someone else's. But now, there was nothing to worry about. In the end, the design circle was still his territory. Chapter 1808. After the party was over, everyone went home. A Bentley stopped at the entrance of the bar. Ning Shui said goodbye to everyone and got into the car under everyone's admiring gazes. After Ning Shui got into the car, she leaned over and kissed the man's lips. Thank you, Brother Yin. It's so late, and I asked you to pick me up. We have the highest turnover this season, so I brought everyone here to have fun. You're the one who has to work hard. Don't hurt yourself. I won't. It's not hard at all. Su Yin rubbed the girl's head and started the engine. Ning Shui glanced at the man next to her and said casually, Brother Yin, do you know that the world is going to be remade? Su Yin nodded. I've heard about it. The crew invited me to participate in the promotion. They said that they wanted to invite all the original cast members to do a promotion with a new version. But I've already retired from the entertainment industry, so I'm still considering whether I should go or not. Su Yin didn't speak for a while, and Ning Shui realized that he was in a daze. The role of my sister, Meng Chang'e, is played by our company's Han Zixuan. She's a good girl with great potential. She's developing very fast, and the company has been focusing on her. Then Ning Shui changed her tone. I don't know where my sister has been for the past year. I can't contact her at all, and no one around her knows where she has gone. No matter what, she should at least tell her family. So many people are worried about her now. There are also a lot of people who want to watch the commotion and spread rumors saying that elder sister retired because she was a kept woman. Su Yin pinched between his eyebrows and looked a little upset. Xiaoxi must have her reasons. Ning Shui nodded and comforted him. I trust my sister too. I'm just afraid that something might have happened to her. I hope I can hear from her soon. When Ning Shi first disappeared, she did worry about her for a long time and had been secretly looking for her. However, 3 months had passed, half a year had passed, and now it had been a whole year. No matter how chaotic it was outside, Ning Shi still did not show up, and she finally stopped looking for her. Now Ning's international was hers. History had gained a firm foothold. She had invested in Starlight with Su Yan's help, and Han Zixuan had completely replaced Ning Shi's position in the entertainment industry. Now, even if Ning Shi came back, she was just a useless woman, a has-been, even worse than a newcomer. How could she compete with her? As for the Su family, Zheng Minjun and Su Hongguang, who had always been picky about her, were now treating her like an ancestor. That damned Su Sun and Zhao Xianxia also avoided her whenever they saw her. However, Ning Yaohua and Zhuang Lingyu seemed to be acting strangely these days. When she was done with her work, she would probably send someone to keep an eye on them. But now, everything in the Ning family was in her hands. Even Ning Yaobang's shares were in her hands. Even Ning Qiudong couldn't do anything to her, so they couldn't do anything to her. If she had really foolishly followed those country bumpkins back then, she would have been a village woman by now. How could she have everything she had now? Family background was a gap that one could never cross in one's life. If she hadn't been the eldest daughter of the Ning family, how could she have entered the entertainment industry so smoothly? How could she have been a good match for Su Yin? How could she have had everything she had today? When the publicity of the world started, She could even use this opportunity to make a comeback and wash away all the shame of the past. The so-called history was always written by the victors. Chapter 1809. In stark contrast to the hustle and bustle of the bar, there was no one in the desolate studio. It was so dark that there was not a trace of light in the room. The youth's body was motionless as he hugged his knees and curled up in the corner. His hair and body were covered in a layer of white mist like spiderwebs. Next to the youth's hand was a phone that had run out of battery. The room was filled with messy manuscripts. Ink, paper, and pens were scattered all over the floor. The wind blew through the window, and the sound of the manuscripts rustling alone echoed in the empty room. When Ning Shi and Lu Tingxiao arrived at Zhe Ling's studio, the lights were off. It was pitch black, and there wasn't even a single sound. "Is Zhe here?" Ning Shi asked uncertainly. This place gave people the feeling that no one had lived in it for many years. Later, when Zhe Ling had expanded and moved to a big company, only Xianxia was used to creating here. He said that this was the only place where he could get inspiration. Ning Shi didn't force him. Could it be that he was still here after a year? According to the assistant, he locks himself here 24 hours a day, Lu Tingxiao answered. Ning Shi's brows furrowed. With a creak, Lu Tingxiao escorted Ning Shi inside and reached out to push open the door of the design studio. He fumbled for the switch on the side, and the light bulb above his head flickered a few times, emitting a faint light. The moment she saw the room clearly, Ning Shi's pupils suddenly contracted. The room was filled with manuscripts. Just from the manuscripts that had been abandoned halfway through, from the messy lines and the scratches on the paper cups, she could see what kind of painful struggle the owner had gone through. And in the corner of the room, the youth was curled up in a dark corner. His body was motionless, as if he had already died along with the entire room. Before coming, Ning Shi had already prepared herself that Gongshang's situation might not be too good, but she never expected to see such a heart-wrenching scene after coming. Even when she had scissored him on the streets of Luo City, even though he had been a dirty beggar, he would still speak eloquently to the clothes she was wearing. But the person in front of her seemed to have had all his talent cruelly taken away. In one night, he had gone from a favored son of heaven to a useless mortal like a child abandoned by God, who had lost all faith. The young man didn't realize that someone had come. Ning Shi didn't even know if he was awake. After a long time, Ning Shi finally recovered from the heart-wrenching scene. She took a deep breath and walked to the young man step by step. Ning Shi slowly squatted down, stretched out her hand, and carefully brushed away the cobwebs on the young man's hair, as though she was afraid of startling him, and called out very softly. The moment Ning Shi's voice sounded, the young man's motionless body trembled slightly, as if a storm had struck the depths of his soul. "Zhe, I'm back." Mechanically, the young man raised his head that was buried in his knees bit by bit. In the darkness, his numb and empty eyes were staring at Ning Shi like a deep pool of dead silence. The next second, the young man covered his eyes with his arm. Then Ning Shi saw big drops of tears falling on the manuscript on the floor, staining the colors and lines full of pain. The young man didn't say anything. He didn't even make a sound. Just like that, he covered his eyes with his arm and kept crying. Ning Shi had never seen a grown man cry like this. She also didn't know that a grown man could have so many tears. Seeing that she had made him cry the moment she came, she instantly panicked and turned to look at Lu Tingxiao helplessly. Sweetheart, what should I do?" Chapter 1810. Ning Shi didn't know what to do. How am I supposed to coax him? Lu Tingxiao pinched his brows. Clearly, he didn't know what to do in this situation either. Ning Shi pulled a long face. Never mind. She was the one who made him cry. She would coax him herself. Thus, Ning Shi quickly squatted there and began to explain. Zhe, I'm really sorry. I suddenly disappeared for so long. I didn't mean to, and I didn't mean to leave our Zhe Ling alone. I was seriously injured and laid in bed for an entire year. I only woke up a few days ago. Because I lay for too long, my body was very weak when I first woke up. It was hard for me to even speak, so I couldn't take care of Ling right away. In order to prevent the news from leaking and causing too many malicious speculations, I sealed off all the news and didn't tell anyone. I'm really sorry. She talked nonstop for a long time. Her lips were about to break. The youth finally said in a muffled voice, I thought, I disappointed you. She held her forehead. How is that possible? You're so awesome. Picking you up is like picking up a treasure, okay? I thought I wasn't good enough. I couldn't satisfy you. I thought Ling was just an insignificant existence to you. I suddenly don't know. I don't know the meaning of my persistence. The youth continued. His face was filled with the deathly stillness and despair of being abandoned. She almost broke down. Why did she feel like a heartless man when he said that? She really didn't. Oh fuck. Why does this child like to think nonsense when he's free? Don't you know how important Ling is to me? We started with the first design drawing, the first client, the first flagship store, and we worked hard until now. I haven't seen our Xianxia stand on the world stage yet, and I haven't let everyone know that you, the genius designer, have slapped Wei's face until it's swollen. Xianxia still buried his head and clenched his fists tightly. Boss, I'm sorry when you weren't here. I didn't do well. I'm sorry. It's fine. In the end, it's still my fault. She quickly comforted. Actually, she could completely understand Xianxia's feelings. After experiencing betrayal and abandonment once, Xianxia had already been traumatized. And this time, in a long wait, all sorts of guesses, doubts, and self-denial had evolved into self-loathing. He even felt that all that he had worked so hard for was not seen or cared by that person. This made him feel that everything had lost its meaning. For a creator, the most fatal bottleneck, apart from self-doubt, was losing meaning. Any one of these factors was enough to destroy a designer. What's more, Xianxia had both at the same time. It wasn't easy for him to hold on until now. If she had woken up any later, a genius like her might not be able to recover from the setback and would never be able to get up again. Thinking of this, she felt scared. There's only one thing that you should apologize to me for. Look at you. I tried so hard to make you into a handsome young man, but you became a bad uncle again. Get up and follow me. Xianxia stood up slowly. Boss, where'd to come to my place? Anyway, I won't cheat you. Xianxia glanced in Lu Tingxiao's direction. I think I'll pass. I'm fine here. Fine what? If I had come any later, I might have come to see a dried corpse. Why are you looking at my sweetheart? Don't worry, this place is huge. You won't be a third wheel. Tell me, what kind of inspiration can you get by being cooped up here every day? I'll bring you to a different environment. I guarantee that you'll find that you're still that genius designer who beats everything. Still the king of this world. Chapter 1811. I promise you'll find that you're still that genius designer XZ who beats everything, still the king of this world. In that long darkness and torturous wait, the girl's words were like a glaring light, suddenly dispelling the haze of his entire world. The chains that firmly bound his soul suddenly broke free and shattered into powder. Finally, she brought Xianxia back to the small garden in Deer Town. There was a small independent wooden hut in the small garden not far behind the main building, just right for Xianxia to stay in temporarily. Xianxia had been sleeping ever since he moved in, not taking a single step out of the small wooden hut for 2 days. She went over to check on him several times, and only relaxed when she saw that he was fine and just asleep. It wasn't until the morning of the 3rd day that Xianxia finally woke up from his dreams. Unlike the past, when he woke up with a splitting headache and drowsiness, this time he felt refreshed and relaxed. After a moment of daze, he remembered that he had been brought here by the boss. The young man looked around the simple wooden hut, then slowly got up, pushed the door open, and walked out. It was late at night when he had come with the boss, so he hadn't had a chance to look around. Now that he pushed open the hut, Xianxia was stunned. What came into view was a large, colorful lake. Sporadic deer were drinking water by the lake, and birds were flying across the lake surface. Gong Xianxia looked at the mountains and lake in the distance and took a deep breath, feeling like he was in a fairyland. After taking a few deep breaths, Gong Xianxia turned around, preparing to find Ningxi. He hadn't walked far when he saw Ningxi in the small garden covered with large patches of roses. The girl was wearing a simple cotton and linen two-piece suit, and so was the little boy beside her. The two of them were doing a set of 5 animals play, one big and one small, their movements completely synchronized. A man also wearing home clothes walked to the girl's side and wiped the sweat off her forehead. "That's enough. Rest for a while," Lu Tingxiao said. Ningxi nodded and sat down on the swing. Then she picked up the white and fat rabbit by her feet, laughing uncontrollably. "Oh, it's so heavy. I didn't expect this rabbit to still be here." Lu Tingxiao said. Xiao Bao took good care of it. When Xiao Bao saw his mother hugging and kissing the big white rabbit, he immediately scurried over to his mother. His little face was filled with a sense of crisis. He did not want to raise a love rival who would fight for his favor. Ningxi put down the rabbit in her arms and pulled Xiao Bao into her arms with a smile. She rubbed the little guy's head and said, "Xiao Bao is amazing." After the rabbit was put down, it immediately ran around happily. However, it didn't take long before it obediently returned to Xiao Bao's buttocks and stayed close to him. "Xiao Bao, go in the house and bring the ginseng soup that has cooled on the table over," Lu Tingxiao said. Xiao Bao nodded and immediately ran into the house. Ningxi hurriedly said, "Hey, I could go by myself." "Why do you want Xiao Bao to go?" Before she could finish, the man kissed the corner of the girl's lips. "I want to be alone with you for a while." Ningxi immediately covered her burning face. "Ah, foul," she was teased again. Gong Xianxia stared blankly at the warm and loving scene in front of him, and he instantly returned from the fairyland to the human world. In an instant, the inspiration in his dried-up mind blossomed like fireworks. A huge wave broke through the ground and quickly dyed the entire land. Chapter 18:12. Aze, you're awake. There's porridge in the kitchen. Hurry up and eat. You've been asleep for 3 days. Do you know that? Ningxi noticed Gong Xianxia not far away and hurried over. "Thank you, boss. I'm fine." The young man looked like a completely different person from 3 days ago. Although he still looked slovenly, he gave off a different vibe. Ningxi breathed a sigh of relief and smiled. "What do you think? I told you I wouldn't cheat you. Isn't this place great? Do you have any new inspiration?" The young man looked at the girl in front of him. She was dressed casually and was completely different from the glamorous girl in his memory. He nodded. "Yeah." Ningxi was pleasantly surprised. "Haha, there really is." "So soon? Then you must stay for a few more days." Gong Xianxia smiled and said in a gentle voice, "Thank you, boss, but there's no need. I'm fine now. I'm going to go back to the studio later so that everyone won't worry about me. Also, I've been idle for too long. Every second counts." Seeing that Gong Xianxia had regained his fighting spirit, she was naturally happy. "Okay, you can leave after breakfast. When you go back, help me explain to Momo and Sister Wailon." "Okay. By the way, remember to go to the guest room upstairs to change your clothes and tidy up your hair." "Yeah." Zealing's studio. Han Momo looked at the empty and messy design room. Her little face was gloomy. Mr. Liu said Director Gong went to his place, but it's been 3 days. Why hasn't Director Gong come back yet? He's not really going to resign and abandon the company, is he? Don't make wild guesses. Xiao Weilon, who was on the sofa, rested her head on her hand. Her face was full of exhaustion. After all, she was a saleswoman in the market, so her psychological quality was naturally stronger than that of ordinary people. But Ningxi was the core of the company. Her sudden disappearance had a great impact on her. Now the company's situation was not optimistic, and she could only barely support herself. This International Fashion Week was the only chance to turn things around. If they failed again, the company might really go bankrupt. And with Gong Xianxia's current state, the International Fashion Week had almost no chance of winning. Han Momo sighed. Xiao Weilon's thoughts were complicated. After waiting for a long time, there seemed to be a familiar sound of footsteps at the door. Han Momo and Xiao Weilon subconsciously looked in the direction of the door. As the footsteps got closer, a slender and fair hand pushed open the door. The moment she saw the young man who suddenly appeared at the door, Han Momo covered her mouth and exclaimed, "Director, Director Gong." How long had it been since she last saw her handsome and beautiful director? It felt like a dream. Xiao Weilon was also stunned when she saw Gong Xiang's refreshed appearance. After seeing the two of them, Gong Xiangzi did not stop for a moment and directly instructed, "Momo, prepare a pen and paper for me immediately. Call Gao Ding's masters over as well." Oh. Han Momo nodded subconsciously and looked for tools for him while staring at Gong Xiangzi in a daze. "Director Gong, what happened to you?" Han Momo seemed to have thought of something and suddenly looked terrified. Director Gong, don't tell me you took drugs." One must know that many designers would take drugs in order to find so-called inspiration. Gong Xiangzi, on the other hand, did not take drugs. He did not even smoke or drink. He could be considered a big weirdo in the design circle. No. Gong Xiangzi quickly picked up a pen and paper to draw while he spoke without raising his head. "Then what's going on?" Han Momo looked confused. Xiao Weilon, who was beside her, was also puzzled. With just a few strokes, Gong Xiangzi sketched out vivid lines that flowed like clouds and flowing water. Then, he wrote down the theme of a few words on the first draft. Only then did he raise his head and look at Xiao Weilon and Han Momo. "My muse is back." Han Momo and Xiao Weilon looked at each other and suddenly revealed an expression of disbelief. They stared blankly at the young man in front of them, who seemed to have obtained a new life. Your muse? You mean, the boss is back?" Chapter 1813. In the garden building. After Gong Xiangzi left, Ningxi thought about how her disappearance had worried too many people. She thought about it for a long time and decided to tell some of them about the situation. Gong Xiangzi would help her explain to the company, and she would go there herself. And also, Sister Tianxin. "Sweetheart, how did you explain to Sister Tianxin?" Ningxi asked, afraid that she would be worried. "You said that you went into seclusion and used your phone to contact her," Lu Tingxiao answered. "Didn't she suspect it?" "Yes." "Oh, as expected. Sister Tianxin is so meticulous. She must have suspected it long ago. I'd better explain the situation to Ning Tianxin, so she won't worry about me." Lu Tingxiao frowned. "I suggest that the fewer people know about this, the better." Ningxi mumbled. "But Sister Tianxin doesn't know anything. She will be very worried if she guesses randomly. I don't want a situation like Zhe to happen again." Lu Tingxiao pinched his brows and didn't say anything. Ningxi saw that he didn't look right. So, she said tentatively, "Did anything else happen when I was in a coma? You mentioned almost everyone, but it seems like you haven't mentioned Xiaodao. Where is she?" "Sister Zhizhi resigned." "What about her? Did she leave the company too?" Lu Tingxiao nodded. "Yes, she left the company." Ningxi's expression froze. She asked again, "Is there something wrong with Xiaodao?" Seeing Ningxi's expression, Lu Tingxiao knew that she must have guessed it. So he had to tell her, "Yes, it was Xiaodao who gave you the real gun in the last scene of the Agents of the Thunderbolts." Hearing this, Ningxi's expression suddenly darkened. No wonder Lu Tingxiao was always so cautious and even guarded against everyone after a long time. Ningxi finally said, "In fact, I thought of it, but it was just a thought. I didn't think it would be Xiaodao." "Was Xiaodao threatened?" Lu Tingxiao nodded. "Someone threatened her with her brother, who is studying abroad." Ningxi said, "I see. How is her brother now?" Lu Tingxiao said, "You retired for a year, and there's no news from them. Her brother is fine too." Ningxi heaved a sigh of relief. "Did you find out who did it?" "It's a gang in Luoyang City that has only started to grow in strength in the past 2 years. It's very chaotic internally, and their motives are currently unknown. However, we've already sent people to keep an eye on them," Lu Tingxiao replied. Ningxi nodded and then looked a little frightened. Lu Tingxiao looked at the girl's desolate expression and pulled her into his arms. "Don't be sad. I'm fine. Although it was proven that Xiao Tao was the one who betrayed her in the end, she still didn't regret trusting her back then. Ningxi took a deep breath and soon recovered. Once bitten, twice shy, but you can't reject all good things just because of one experience. Look at Dad. Aren't we the best examples? So, Sister Tianxin, I still have to tell her. Lu Tingxiao looked at the girl's bright and beautiful face, which was not affected by the haze, and his face was full of tenderness. Yes, Madam's words make sense. Ningxi was immediately overjoyed by the praise. Right. Chapter 1814. Sure enough, when Ningxi video called Ning Tianxin said that she was going to take a long leave to go back to China. Although she had suppressed the suspicion in her heart because of her trust in Lu Tingxiao, after so long, she had to see Xiaoxi with her own eyes no matter what to rest assured. Sister Tianxin, I'm fine. I'm alive and kicking. I'll show you. Ning, she said as she bounced up and down with the phone in her hand. That's good. Ning Tianxin didn't ask for the reason. She was relieved to see that she was fine. How about you, Sister Tianxin? How are you? You don't look well. Ning, she asked with concern. Ning Tianxin sighed. It's nothing serious. It's all been solved. Is Ning Yaobang bothering you again? Why hasn't this guy given up yet? Ning, she frowned. Ning Tianxin said helplessly, Do you know what's going on with the Ning family? Ning, she pondered. A little bit. Ning Tianxin thought for a while and said, I don't know what Ning Shuo did, but my father gave her 6% of the company's shares. So now Ning Shuo has 21% of the company's shares, which is more than Aunt Xiaotong's shares. Basically, Ning Shuo is in charge of the company. Now, my father knows he can't force me to get married, so he wants to take the 10% of shares from me. Damn it, don't give it to him. It's what you and your mother need. Ning, she said hurriedly. I know. I won't give it to him. I've finished my studies and moved to a new place. I don't think he'll come back. Ning, she nodded. Be careful. Do you still keep in touch with Qin Mufeng? Yes. Dr. Qin has helped me a lot. That's good. If you need anything, go to him. Don't be shy. I'll help you keep an eye on things in the country. If anything happens, you must contact me. Okay, I know. Take care of yourself. After Ning, she hung up the phone. The man rubbed her hair. Are you relieved now? Ning, she nodded. Yes. Play outside for a while. Xiao Bao, and I will cook for you. I'll go with you. Ning, she took the man's hand. No, there's smoke in the kitchen. The man looked serious, and there was no room for compromise. Oh, all right. Lu Tingxiao and Xiao Bao both went to the kitchen to cook. The two little buns agreed that cooking in the kitchen was bad for one's health, so they asked her to wait outside to eat. Thus, Ning, she carried the big white rabbit and took a stroll in the small garden. Gong Xianxia had recovered. Sister Tianxin had also been contacted, and she finally had a few things off her mind. With the help of the ointment that Annie had prescribed, her body was recovering very quickly. It wouldn't take long for her to recover. Lu Tingxiao saw that she was too bored during this period, so he even helped her make a small shooting range so that she could have fun. It seemed that it would be ready in the afternoon. Ning, she walked leisurely with the rabbit in her arms while thinking about some trivial things, her expression very satisfied. As a result, when she went around the shade of the flowers, she suddenly saw the white-haired man with a huge bunch of roses. She was so frightened that she directly threw the rabbit in her arms away. Chapter 1815. The poor big white rabbit was still enjoying the stroking a second ago, but was thrown away the next second. It stood at the feet of the white-haired man in a daze. Ning, she was still standing in the same place, with a horrified expression as if she had seen a ghost in broad daylight. You. Ning, she stammered for a long time without saying anything. The main thing was that she suddenly saw this guy appear when she was unprepared. It was so scary. The man was playing with a bright rose with dew on it in his hand. He clicked his tongue and said, What about me? You took my dowry, and now you don't recognize me? My dear sister-in-law? Sister-in-law? Ning, she was shocked again. Don't call me sister-in-law. What sister-in-law? isn't it? The man raised his eyebrows slightly. The white-haired man with the rose in his hand looked like a demon. Ning she couldn't refute. Did this guy already know that she was married to Lu Tingxiao? What the hell is the dowry? What did I take your dowry? Ning she continued to be confused. The man didn't answer, but looked at the rabbit at his feet with interest. Then he bent down and picked up the rabbit under Ning she's nervous gaze. He stroked the soft fluff of the rabbit with his fair and transparent fingers. Tut, it's so fat. Ning she's face suddenly darkened. So what? I didn't eat your carrots. The man looked up at her. You look so energetic. It seems that everything is fine. Yes, I have high HP and defense. It's all thanks to your inhumane oppression in the past. Hearing this, Ning Shi's vigilant look relaxed a little. It turned out that this guy just came to care about her. Why couldn't he show up without any reason? She was so scared that she fainted again when she woke up. In fact, she always had mixed feelings about Yunxin. After waking up, one of the things she was most concerned about was undoubtedly Yunxin and Xiao Yi. Later she learned that Yunxin and Xiao Yi directly fell out. Lu Tingxiao caught Xiao Yi, but it seemed that he was rescued. His whereabouts were unknown, and he never appeared again. After Xiao Yi's matter came to an end, there should have been a big battle between Yunxin and Lu Tingxiao. In fact, the two forces were really incompatible now. However, for an entire year, the two factions maintained a delicate balance and did not break it. Under the swaying roses, the man smiled lightly. It wasn't a cold smile, nor was it a careless smile. It wasn't an empty smile. Instead, it was a warm smile that she had never seen before. When Ningxi was still in a daze, the man had already turned to leave. Let's go. He left just like that? Are you going to run after being scared? Ningxi was in a daze. Suddenly, she realized that there was still something on his side. She quickly shouted, "Hey, my rabbit!" Only then did the man turn around again. Ningxi hurriedly ran over and carried the rabbit back. Thank me for saving your life, little Fei Fei. Otherwise, you would have been brought back by this terrifying fellow to be stewed. From the corner of her eye, Ningxi saw a bunch of furry white balls outside the man's pocket. It looked very strange, so she subconsciously asked, "What's in your pocket? What's that thing?" The man lowered his eyes and took out his cell phone from his pocket. This, Ningxi finally saw clearly that the small white ball was a cell phone chain. The corner of Ningxi's mouth twitched. Damn, you actually use this kind of cell phone chain? Moreover, why did she feel that this little white ball had a very subtle sense of familiarity? But she couldn't remember where she had seen it before. The man raised an eyebrow and pinched the little white ball. Is it cute? Ningxi coughed lightly. It's quite cute, but it doesn't match with you. The man seemed to be thinking about something. He looked dazed for a moment and murmured. After a while, he murmured, "Really? Doesn't match." I see. Ningxi didn't know what to say. She just felt that the man's expression was a little strange. Then, Yunxin turned around and left without saying a word. This insufferably arrogant man who didn't care about anything, when he left, gave her an inexplicable illusion of loneliness and desolation. Chapter 1816. After a period of time, Jiang Mai's departure from the press conference of the world and his swearing on Weibo had now reached the climax. Han Zixuan's fans swarmed to Jiang Mai's Weibo, his personal official Weibo, his agent's Weibo, and even the official Weibo of Xianxia Entertainment. They all condemned Jiang Mai's rude and unreasonable behavior as a public figure, seeking justice for their goddess Zixuan. Most of Han Zixuan's fans were transferred from Ningxi's fans. It should be noted that Ningxi's fans were no less powerful than Jiang Mai's fans in the past. Now, under the incitement of some people, it was like Mars colliding with Earth. The whole internet was in an unprecedented chaos. Jiang Mai's biggest flaw in this matter was that he had cursed, and it was to a woman. In such a situation, many fans and passers-by would not look into the cause of the matter at all, nor would they look into it. Based on this point alone, they would conclude that Jiang Mai was immoral and ungentlemanly. In any case, he should not have done such an outrageous thing to a girl, especially when many fans thought that Jiang Mai and Han Zixuan were a couple. Now that this matter had blown up, Jiang Mai was even labeled as a scumbag. Xianxia Entertainment mobilized all their PR personnel, but they still failed to save Jiang Mai's reputation. Under the pressure of Starlight Entertainment, Jiang Mai's image plummeted. What was more troublesome was that Jiang Mai himself did not cooperate. Since the day of the press conference, they had not been able to contact him. Whatever they did was in vain. In the general manager's office, Isu Dong slammed the desk in front of him and began to curse Liang Feixing angrily. Liang Feixing, what the hell is wrong with you? Why did such a simple thing develop into such a mess? You can't even handle such a simple PR matter. How dare you call yourself the creator of the entertainment circle? Pack your things and go back to your hometown. You good for nothing. Facing Yi Sudong's scolding, Liang Feixing sat on the sofa with an indifferent look on his face. He tilted his head and said slowly, "Even the cleverest housewife can't cook without rice. Now that all the people in the PR department have been poached, do you want me to sprinkle beans to make soldiers? Oh, right, I forgot to tell you, General Manager E. Just now, Starlight called me and said that they want to poach me. Their annual salary is 3 times what you're offering. What do you think? Should I go or not?" Well, if it weren't for the sake of Big Boss and the relationship between Ning Shi and Big Boss, how could he have survived for so long under Yi Sudong's hand? It hadn't been long since Second Young Master had left, but he couldn't wait to take over the reins of power. He kidnapped his own artist and forced Lin Zhizhi to leave. A series of slanderous words and mistakes in decision-making had ruined a golden era in his hands. When Yi Sudong heard this, he immediately shut up and did not dare to let out another fart. If Liang Feixing were to leave, golden era would really be done for. Yi Sudong had nowhere to vent his anger, but he didn't dare to yell at Liang Feixing, so he turned to Lei Ming, who was sitting quietly in the corner. "And you, Lei Ming, you have to bear the greatest responsibility for this matter. You are Jiang Mai's agent, and I have repeatedly told you to keep an eye on him. What on earth did you do? How could he make such a post in such a sensitive situation? Why didn't you ask Jiang Mai to come out and explain himself? You keep saying that Jiang Mai's side has been persuaded, but this is what you mean by persuaded?" Chapter 1817. Lei Ming wasn't like Liang Feixing. Although he was tall and strong, he had a good temper and a soft temper. He didn't say a word even when he was scolded and continued sitting there. "Useless thing. You're just like a ghost, and don't say anything when something happens. You're worse than a fucking woman." Yi Sudong's curses were getting more and more unpleasant. Suddenly, the office door was pushed open by a rash force. A drunken middle-aged man suddenly fell in. The man was holding a bottle of wine. He was dressed sloppily and reeked of alcohol. He said to Yi Sudong with his tongue hanging out, "So, you're looking for me?" Yi Sudong's face darkened when he saw who it was. "Su Tao, look at yourself. Look at yourself. Let me ask you, what's wrong with the female artists under you? Why did they suddenly want to terminate their contracts after you managed to bring them up? And I only found out about this after I received the lawyer's letter. They ran away. Ingrates. Ha! I don't have to put in so much effort to take care of my daughters. I treat them like grandsons every day and treat them like princesses in order to get them an advertisement. I drank until my stomach bled. I didn't even let them drink once. In the end, they were seduced and went around saying that I did something to them, that I cheated on them, that I abused them, that I exploited them. Ha! I abused them." Su Tao continued to drink as he spoke. Yi Sudong was infuriated when he saw him like this. "Isn't that because you're useless? Useless. You can't even control a few girls." Su Tao's eyes turned cold when he heard that. He snorted and said, "Yi Sudong, don't compare yourself in front of me. When I was a top manager in the entertainment industry, you were still drinking milk in your mother's arms. I was poached by Second Young Master. When I was with Second Young Master, I had a good life. All the artists, even the A-listers, had to bow down to me. Even a retard like you had to call me Brother Tao in front of me. Touch your fucking conscience. Who did I fucking become like this for?" Su Tao smashed the bottle of wine in his hand as he spoke. The shards scattered all over the floor. Liang Feixing frowned and walked over to persuade him. That's enough, old Su. Lei Ming also went over to pull him back. Let's go. They all knew that Su Tao was the one who suffered the most in this company. When he was famous, Zheng Anru was just a small assistant under him. Previously, when Han Zixuan and her manager, Zheng Anru, took away all the resources and poached a large number of artists, Lin Zhiji also resigned and left. It was Su Tao who single-handedly stabilized the company. He started from the beginning, looking for partners everywhere and snatching back resources. No matter what the other party offered, he refused to leave. Under the pursuit of Starlight, he forcefully cultivated an A-lister and a super-A-lister to compete with Starlight. As a result, Zheng Anru and Starlight viewed him as a thorn in their side and secretly gave him many obstacles. Once he was cornered by a group of hooligans in an alley and was beaten up so badly that he had to lie in bed for a month. He was such an unyielding man, but when the two female stars that he had painstakingly cultivated jumped ship without any warning, he completely collapsed. Liangzi Lei Ming, do you know how I feel right now? Su Tao hammered his chest. It's like my wife ran away with someone else. Chapter 1818. Yes, I understand your feelings, but you can't keep wasting your body. Don't drink so much, take a good rest, and start all over again. With your ability, you can definitely make a comeback. Lei Ming could barely take care of himself, but he was still trying his best to comfort the big brother in front of him. Su Tao chuckled and muttered, "Start all over again. Do you think it's that easy? I can't afford to start all over again. Lei Ming, do you think everyone is like Ningxi? There's only one good seedling in the entertainment industry every 3 to 5 years. There's not even one like Ningxi in 100 years, and the company is in such a state now. Why do you want to start all over again? Lei Ming, I'm tired, really tired." Lei Ming was speechless, unable to respond to him. Liang Feixing sighed. His face was also gloomy. Now, there were only a few old people left in the company. Things remained the same, but people had changed. After the flowers and the fire, only ruins were left. The world that belonged to them was gradually fading away. Su Tao fell to the ground in a daze, looking at the setting sun in the distance through the large glass window. The current prosperity won't last more than half a year. If Ning, she didn't retire. If Ning, she could come back. How is that possible? Dear Town, under the meticulous care of Big Bun and Little Bun, Ning Shi's body recovered quickly. When Annie came over to check on her, she was amazed at her recovery speed. Ning Shi replied, "The nourishment of love." Bang! After 3 days of adaptation, Ning Shi could accurately hit the center ring again. At first, the feeling of being powerless was really terrible, especially when she saw that she couldn't even hit 6th ring and 7th ring opponents. Fortunately, Lu Tingxiao and Little Treasure stayed with her, distracting her and helping her adapt bit by bit. In the end, she realized that the feeling of finding back her ability was quite good. He had a feeling that he was still as awesome as ever. Ningxi was practicing shooting when a young man's loud cry came from not far away. "Oh, Sister Shi, you're really awake, Rongguang." Ku air. Seeing them, Ningxi was pleasantly surprised. "Why are you guys here?" Zhuang Rongguang sped past like an arrow and glared at Lu Tingxiao. "I wanted to come here a long time ago, okay?" he said angrily. "It's all this guy's fault for hiding you all this time. He even said that he doesn't want any guests to disturb him. That's why we couldn't come to see you until now. Sister Shi, you're so awesome. A vegetable could actually wake up. I know you're a person who can do great things." She didn't know whether to laugh or cry at Zhuang Rongguang's words. "You are the one who could do big things. I heard that you're doing well in the army now. You won the 1st place in the martial arts competition?" "Ha. Of course not. I'm just so. The young man scratched his head. His words were modest, but his tail had already risen to the sky. The teenager noticed the gun in Ning Shi's hand and the other guns beside it. His eyes lit up like light bulbs. "Oh my God, gold Colt revolver. Damn it. I've only seen it in picture books. Damn, these are all legendary antiques. Sister, big sister, big sister. Can I give a try? The youth's saliva was almost dripping down. Xianxia glanced at the boy with a faint smile. You have to ask your brother-in-law. Chapter 1819. Zhuang Ronguang curled her lips unhappily. No way. I haven't admitted that he is my brother-in-law. Sister, what do you think of Brother Lin Qian? He is already a colonel at such a young age. He was the one who took you to the military sanatorium and was responsible for your safety. Even if you don't trust my judgment, you should trust my dad's judgment. He's my dad's confidant, the legendary child of another family. My dad always compares me to him. Seeing Zhuang Ronguang trying to poach Zhuang Ronguang in front of him, Lu Tingxiao didn't say anything. He just took out a gun and shot at the bull SI in front of him. The moment Zhuang Ronguang saw the gun in Lu Tingxiao's hand, she jumped over as if she had seen her dream lover. Oh, a fox. Brother-in-law. Cousin-in-law. Let me touch you. We are a family. You won't be so stingy, right? Xiao Bao, who looked at her contemptuously. Xianxia laughed for a while, turned to Zhuang Ke, who had been silent, took her hand, and sat down at the wooden table under the flower rack not far away. The girl didn't say anything but gave Zhuang Ke a big hug. She knew that for Zhuang Ke at this moment, this was the best way to reunite. Under the swaying roses in the breeze, the two girls hugged each other quietly like an oil painting. Zhuang Ke's body trembled slightly. She didn't feel real until she felt the girl's body temperature through the hug. She choked with sobs. I knew you would wake up. Of course, I don't want Sister Ke to worry about me. It took Zhuang Ke a long while to calm herself down. She let go of Xianxia and said gently, No wonder we hit it off so well. I didn't expect you to be my cousin. Xianxia also smiled. Fate is really amazing. Cici, you knew it long ago, right? About the relationship between our families? Zhuang Ke asked. I heard something from Zhuang Lingyu. Then why didn't you tell me? Zhuang Ke frowned. Xianxia smiled. Because it doesn't matter. Anyway, we are good sisters. Zhuang Ke's heart warmed, and she immediately nodded. Yes, you're right. Thinking of something, Zhuang Ke's expression dimmed again. Xiaoxi, I'm sorry. Why are you apologizing? She said hurriedly. Zhuang Ke lowered her head. I didn't manage your fan club well. Ever since you fainted, everyone has left. She hurriedly comforted her. It's inevitable. After all, I've been in seclusion for so long. Zhuang Ke sighed with a lonely expression. In the beginning, everyone was holding on until you came back. No matter what happened, there was always a group of people who never wavered. Then Han Zishuan appeared. They secretly sent people to infiltrate our inner circle and even bribe the management of our fans. They spread all kinds of rumors when I wasn't around, shaking people's hearts. They caused chaos internally, and the outside world couldn't hold on anymore. Besides, Han Zishuan's style was so similar to yours at that time, and she was supported by Yi Sudong. She suddenly took away a large number of our fans. Xianxia listened to Zhuang Ke's words. Although it was only a few words, she could feel how turbulent it was at that time, as well as the scenes of Zhuang Ke's helplessness and stubbornness. Those scenes of them fighting for her, although she did not personally experience it, stirred up a strong shock in her heart. With that, Zhuang Ke took a deep breath, looked at Xianxia, and suddenly smiled like a flower. But it's all over now. You've woken up. Those who really like you and care about you only want you to be happy and healthy. Even if they can't see you, you will always be fine. Chapter 1820. Late at night, Xianxia tossed and turned and woke up. Zhuang Ke's words still lingered in her mind during the day. Xianxia kissed Xiaobao's face and tiptoed past Lu Tingxiao. She got out of bed and went to the study. After sitting at the desk for a long time, Xianxia finally turned on the computer. After deciding to retire, she had never paid attention to any news on the internet except for what she had heard from Lu Jingli. She opened the search engine and stared at the screen for a while. After a while, She typed the words Ning, she retires. As soon as she pressed the Enter key, countless related news appeared. Basically, they were old news from a year ago. Some fans held banners and said they would wait for her. Some fans marched in front of Xianxia Entertainment. She was absent from various awards, causing a stir. The headlines were all about her. As time went by, her name appeared less and less. Gradually, it was replaced by Han Zixuan and countless newcomers until she disappeared from the entertainment circle. Ding. A hot entertainment news suddenly popped up in the lower right corner. It seemed to mention Jiang Mai. She glanced at it and clicked it. Then she saw a dazzling headline. Fans protest. Jiang Mai gets out of the entertainment circle. What happened? Ningxi's expression changed immediately. She read the news carefully. Coincidentally, it was related to Han Zixuan again. The cause was that Jiang Mai had publicly posted on Weibo, insulting her and even insulting her mother. Fuck you, Ning, she looked at the Weibo and frowned. Even someone as impulsive as Jiang Mai wouldn't use such harsh words to a woman. She began to trace the details of the matter. It turned out that she also knew the cause of the matter. It was the scandal about Jiang Mai and Han Zixuan that she saw in a stall in Deer Town when she woke up. At first, Jiang Mai didn't seem to care about it. After all, there were too many actresses who wanted to take advantage of him. She guessed that the photo was probably a stills photo. She just needed to clarify it when it was time to publicize it. But things suddenly went out of control at the press conference of the world. Jiang Mai suddenly left midway and posted that Weibo post without any warning. She carefully watched what happened at the press conference. Then, she found a video. In the video, Han Zixuan's manager was righteously answering a reporter's question. Zheng Anru. Ever since Zixuan debuted, she's been maliciously slandered. Because of her outstanding appearance, she's been compared to a lot of other pretty female celebrities. Zixuan wasn't someone who could be compared to those inferior people who relied on their looks and bodies. This was an insult to Zixuan. Here, I solemnly declare to all the media that I hope you will not bring up these insulting questions in the future. Don't ever mention Zixuan's name in the same breath as those people of low moral standing. When Zheng Anru said these words, Jiang Mai's face was hidden in the shadows. He had been playing with his phone absent-mindedly. The moment Zheng Anru finished speaking, Jiang Mai slowly stood up and left without saying a word. Following that, the entire scene was in chaos. Jiang Mai was the one who had posted that Weibo post at that time. She watched the video. Looking at Jiang Mai's arrogant, cold, and mocking face as he left arrogantly without looking back, she sighed softly and revealed a helpless smile. This guy. Chapter 1821. Can't sleep? The man's voice came from behind. She moved her eyes away from the computer screen and looked at Lu Tingxiao behind her, looking a little distracted. Yeah, Lu Tingxiao's eyes fell on the video and search records on the screen, gently stroking the girl's soft hair. I told you, I will support you no matter what decision you make. She turned around and buried her head in the man's body, not speaking for a long time. After a long time, the girl's eyes gradually became firm. Lu Tingxiao, I want to go back. Lu Tingxiao, okay. Jiang Mai was doing this for her after all. She couldn't just sit back and do nothing. Just like Jiang Mai, Ku'er, and many other fans who had been silently defending her until now were in the same situation. If the first time was for her dream, this time it was for those who had always been standing behind her. After deciding to go back and help her nephew, she spent the next period of time recuperating and learning about everything that had happened in the entertainment industry in the past year as quickly as possible. After reading almost all the old news, she sat on a rattan chair in the garden, reading the latest issue of the Entertainment Weekly. Ningxi's eyes fell on a familiar name in the corner of the gossip, and she paused for a moment. Su Tao, the most experienced agent in Xianxia Entertainment, was now in a bar, dressed in sloppy clothes, getting drunk, quarreling with a female artist who used to work for him, and being slapped and insulted by the female artist's assistant. And this news was obviously biased towards the female artist. It was full of sarcasm and schadenfreude. saying that Su Tao deserved it for oppressing and abusing his artists. Reading this gossip, Ningxi frowned little by little. Su Tao had a good reputation in the industry. It was said that he had been standing up for Xianxia after the incident and even sold his family property. In any case, it was impossible for him to do anything against his professional ethics. However, this kind of situation was common. Those artists who had been cultivated by him were now being poached by Xing Hui at a high price, and they were afraid that others would say that they were ungrateful, so they wanted to have a legitimate reason to betray the company. Of course, they would make up rumors to ruin his reputation. Previously, Lu Tingxiao had helped him ask around about Big Sister Gigi. Her family didn't seem to be in good health and had been busy taking care of them. Big Sister Gigi had worked so hard to bring her to that position, and she really didn't want to burden her again. Originally, he was worried about who his agent should look for when he went back this time. Su Tao. Ningxi's finger gently tapped the name on the paper, revealing a thoughtful expression. Not far away. Boss, why did you call me here? Liang Feixing would never have thought that he would be personally summoned by the big boss one day. Along the way, he had been thinking about why his boss was looking for him, but he didn't dare to ask. He could only follow behind the man in fear and trepidation, so nervous that his heart was pounding. Liang Feixing followed the man in front of him for a few more steps. Through the layers of flowers and leaves, he could vaguely see a woman leaning on a rattan chair not far away. However, the woman's face was covered by a layer of flowers, so he could not see her clearly. A vague guess formed in his mind. Liang Feixing's face revealed a doubtful expression, but he quickly felt that it was impossible. At this moment, the woman slowly stood up, and the face that made even the afternoon sun lose its brilliance slowly appeared in front of him. Director Liang, long time no see. Chapter 1822. Ningxi. Liang Feixing's eyes widened when he saw who the woman was. He felt as if he had been struck by lightning in broad daylight. He looked at the woman who had disappeared for more than a year, not only because of her sudden appearance, but also because of her temperament at the moment. Back then, Ningxi was already enough to make the sun and moon lose their luster. At this moment, it was as if the woman in front of him had reversed time. Not only did time not affect her appearance in the slightest, but also made her aura even more heaven-defying. Liang Feixing couldn't imagine what kind of expression those people, who had been speculating about Ningxi's body shape and her plastic surgery failure, would have when they saw her now. It was hard to imagine what kind of shock Ningxia would cause when she appeared in public again. The entire entertainment circle would change because of her, as long as she was willing. She was born to be the queen of the world. Liang Feixing, who was usually eloquent, suddenly didn't know how to speak at this moment. He was in great shock and disbelief. Just then, he saw the low-key ring on the woman's finger. He immediately looked at the big boss's finger. Sure enough, he saw the same wedding ring on the big boss's finger. Holy shit. They got married? Although he was the first to know the relationship between the two, he was still stunned for a moment. Oh, his big boss, his queen, they were really getting married, damn. If this news was exposed, the entire entertainment circle would be blown up. You said Ningxi was a mistress of an old, rich businessman, and that she secretly got pregnant with an illegitimate child and quit the entertainment circle. She was the real winner in life, you stupid human beings. Madam, long time no see. Really long time no see. Liang Feixing didn't know how long it had been before he finally regained the ability to speak normally. Lu Tingxiao was displeased to see Liang Feixing staring at Ningxi for so long. But when he heard the words, madam, his expression softened a little. Xiaoxia is looking for you. Madam is looking for me. May I know why? Madam is looking for me? Liang Feixing looked more flustered. She comforted him. Director Liang, don't be nervous. It's nothing serious. Please sit down and have a cup of tea. Liang Feixing was the only person she was slightly familiar with in the company. There were many things that she needed his help with. In addition, Liang Feixing knew her relationship with Lu Tingxiao, so it was more convenient for him to help her. Therefore, when Lu Tingxiao wanted to help her contact Liang Feixing, she did not refuse. All right, all right. Liang Feixing sat down and took a sip of the scented tea on the table. Director Liang, I called you over because I want to make a comeback, Ningxi said. Pooh. Liang Feixing spat out a mouthful of tea and coughed violently. What? No. Lady boss, what did you just say? I said, I want to make a comeback. Ningxi repeated herself, a smile slowly appearing on her otherworldly face. Liang Feixing. What did he hear? She said she was going to make a comeback? How is this not a big deal? But how is that possible? She had everything now. She was at the top of the entertainment industry and married a man like Lu Tingxiao. What more could she ask for in life? How could he possibly think of making a comeback? Chapter 1823. She seemed to have guessed Liang Feixing's question. She said slowly, I seem to have brought a lot of trouble to everyone after I retired. I just heard about what happened to Jiang Mai recently. After all, it's all because of me. No, it has nothing to do with you. It's all because of some idiots, Liang Feixing hurriedly said. He had never expected that she would suddenly appear when Golden Era was at its end and abandoned by the group. She even offered to make a comeback. Ningxi's comeback was not just a simple one. She was also representing Big Boss and Lu Group. Lady Boss, you don't know this, but a few days ago I was talking to old Sue and the others about how great it would be if you could come back. Madam, are you sure you want to make a comeback? Then who are you going to hire as your agent? Shall we invite Lin Jiji back? Liang Feixing asked a series of questions. Sister Jiji has something to do at home. Don't bother her. Let's hire Brother Tao. She said. Old Sue, Madam, are you sure? Holy shit, that guy will be crazy with joy if he knows about it. Liang Feixing was so excited that his expression suddenly froze. Then he glanced at the direction of a certain wife-protecting demon beside him with great apprehension. Then, Sir Boss, he also agreed to let you come back? She hugged Lu Tingxiao's arm. Well, my sweetheart has agreed. Just don't tire yourself out. I'm on a good condition now. Huh? Madam, are you pregnant? Liang Feixing's eyes widened as he stared at Ningxi's belly. Ningxi's mouth twitched. I was seriously ill, and I'm recuperating. Oh, I see. Boss, madam, you don't have to worry about the workload. Madam, you only need to move your little finger, and you can make their thighs thick. You don't need to worry about it. You've come back this time to bring us to reclaim our country and sweep across the world. Ningxi chuckled. Director Liang, you have too much confidence in me. Lady Boss, what I said is absolutely the truth. Oh, when are we going to start? Liang Feixing asked eagerly. Ningxi thought for a while. As soon as possible. Tomorrow. Take me to Brother Tao first. No problem. A quiet night. Ningxi kissed Little Treasure, who was coaxed to sleep, and then went to Lu Tingxiao's side to sleep. She stuck to his arms and stroked his fur. Sweetheart, don't worry. I really know what I'm doing. I definitely won't let myself get tired. My body has recovered by more than half. She had planned to rest for a few more days, but she was worried that the longer it dragged on, the more disadvantageous it would be for Jiang Mai, so she wanted to solve it as soon as possible. Lu Tingxiao didn't speak, so Ningxi kept rubbing and kissing him. In the end, the man couldn't take it anymore. You've mostly recovered? After that, he carried the troublesome girl from the bed and went to the guest room next door. She felt that her body was suddenly suspended in the air and then gently landed on the soft bedding. Under the moonlight, the man in front of her seemed to have a ball of fire in his eyes. That ball of fire was getting closer and closer. Suddenly, along with the burning temperature on his lips, she felt as if she was going to be burned together with him. Oh, was she finally going to complete the nuptial chamber that she had been putting off until now? Their tongues were entangled, and the kiss was getting deeper and deeper, as if he was going to suck away her soul. Ningxi's chest trembled from the depths of her body, and her pink toes curled up at once. It was just a moment of foreplay, but Ningxi already felt as if she was a fish on a dry riverbank, and her breathing began to become uneven. After a long time, the man finally left her lips and his face was full of suppressed emotions. Are you still sure that your physical strength is enough? Ning, she buried her head in the man's arms, and her claws scratched the man's body unwillingly. How can this be the same? This has nothing to do with physical strength, okay? Even if you smile at me, my heart will beat 180, not to mention that you're treating me like this. Lu Tingxiao was stunned. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry at this sudden flattery. What kind of nonsense is this? This is the truth. Chapter 1824. Because of the so-called stamina, the room wasn't fully occupied. Ning, she secretly decided to increase the progress of her rehabilitation. It was more reliable for her to force herself on him. They had already reached that point last night, but Lu Tingxiao actually held himself back when he saw that she was physically exhausted. She didn't know if it was her imagination, but sometimes she really felt that Lu Tingxiao seemed to be a little too careful with her in this regard. However, this feeling of being completely respected and cherished still touched her every time. If that person wasn't him, she probably wouldn't be so intimate with a man in her life. The next day, early in the morning, Liang Feixing personally drove over to pick her up. Before leaving, in order to avoid trouble, Ning, she temporarily took off the wedding ring on her finger and wore it around her neck with a silver necklace. Madam, that Brother Su hasn't been in a good state recently. When you see him later, don't be too surprised. Liang Feixing gave Ning she a heads up in advance, worried that Ning she would change her mind when she saw Su Tao in that state. As a friend, he naturally hoped that Su Tao could seize this only chance to turn things around. It's okay. Ning, she didn't seem to care. After half an hour of driving, the two stopped in front of an old apartment building with a cramped environment. Brother Su sold all his assets and rented a house here in order to nurture his new subordinates. It wasn't easy for him to bring them out, but he didn't expect them to run away and even bite back at him. Because of this, Brother Su is a little depressed. He's been drinking and getting drunk. A few days ago, he was even slapped in the face by a small assistant at the bar. I think his mood is even worse now. Liang Feixing sighed as he carefully led Ning Shi upstairs. As soon as they walked to the door, they saw things being thrown out of the apartment. Then, they heard a harsh and sharp voice coming from inside. You shameless drunkard. Top manager? Big stars Lu Xiaoro and Yin Yu were both groomed by you? Top manager, is this how you behave? I'm telling you, if you don't pay the rent tomorrow, get out of here. After a series of banging noises, the plump landlady in a nightgown walked out of the house arrogantly. When she saw the man with an extraordinary temperament and the woman wearing sunglasses beside him, her expression paused for a moment. She curiously looked back at the two of them a few times before walking away while muttering, Ahem, lady boss, I'm sorry. Please slow down. This way. Liang Feixing didn't expect that the reality was worse than he expected. He carefully kicked away the debris at his feet and led Ning Shi into the house. As soon as he entered the house, there was a pungent smell of alcohol. Everything in the house was smashed, and it was a mess. Su Tao was lying unconscious on a pile of debris like mud. Liang Feixing pinched his nose and kicked Su Tao's leg. Old Su, wake up. Wake up and take a look. Look who's here. Su Tao impatiently waved the bottle in his hand. Get out of here, even if the King of Heaven comes. I don't want to see him. Liang Feixing glanced at Ning Shi next to him awkwardly and hurriedly snatched the bottle from Su Tao's hand and threw it away. Look carefully, Ning Shi. Ning Shi is back. She wants you to be her manager. Hearing Ning Shi's name, Su Tao froze for a moment and then laughed so hard that tears almost came out. Ha! Ha ha! Liang Zi, you're even more drunk than me. Ning Shi is back. Ning Shi wants me to be her manager. Ha! If Ning Shi is back, I'll let you fuck me. Liang Feixing. Thank you. I'm not interested in you. Chapter 1825. Thank you, but I'm not interested in you. Su Tao is furious. Fuck, why aren't you interested in me? Do you know how many male and female actors I used to be? Do you know how many male and female actors wanted to sleep with me? Fuck. Now one or two of them are saying that I slept with them and forced them to sleep with me. I won't sleep with them, even if you give them to me. Liang Feixing looked at him with disgust and covered his face speechlessly. Ningxi couldn't help laughing out loud. Hearing a girl's chuckle suddenly coming from the room, Su Tao, who was cursing, suddenly fell silent as if someone had pinched his throat. Only then did he realize that there was someone behind Liang Feixing. Ningxi held back her laughter, took off her sunglasses, and looked at the man who was lying in a pile of junk. She said softly, "Brother Tao." Su Tao was still in a daze. "Director Liang didn't lie to you. I really want you to be my agent." Ningxi continued. Fuck you, Liang Feixing. After a while, Su Tao let out an earth-shattering curse and stood up abruptly, causing the mess around him to fall to the ground. The man didn't bother to help her up. Like a spinning top, he pulled out the only clean chair from the pile of messy things, wiped it with a bedsheet, and quickly pushed it in front of Ningxi. "Sit. Goddess Shi, please sit. I'm sorry, the house is too messy." With that, he pulled Liang Feixing, who was watching the show, into a corner. "Why didn't you tell me earlier?" Liang Feixing smiled. "If I had told you earlier, you wouldn't have had the chance to give yourself to me." "Fuck off." Su Tao cursed and kicked the man. When he turned to Ningxi, he immediately put on a flattering expression. I'm not dreaming, am I? Movie Queen Ning, you're really back. Are you going to make a comeback?" "Yes, I am. But why me? Are you sure you want me to be your agent?" Su Tao looked at himself awkwardly. Damn that Liang Feixing. If he had reminded him earlier, he wouldn't have left such a bad impression on the goddess. Liang Feixing seemed to have guessed what he was thinking. He crossed his arms in front of his chest and raised his eyebrows. "Stop muttering. Do you think Ningxi doesn't know what you look like now? The photos of your terrible uncle are all over the place. Brother Tao, you're the one who knows the company's situation the best. I think you're the most suitable candidate. What's more, I admire your loyalty." Ningxi said. Su Tao was startled when he heard that, and his eyes were slightly hot. "If Brother Tao is fine with it, we can start arranging the work now. Is there anything you need me to do now?" When Su Tao heard this, his cloudy eyes immediately became sharp. He finally realized that Ningxi was serious. He finally realized that all of this was real and not a dream. He had actually waited for the chance to turn things around. Su Tao wiped his face and quickly pulled out a stack of documents from the drawer. He spoke quickly. "I ran around for a month before I finally managed to get Lu Xiaoro the Wildy skincare advertisement. In the end, she was poached by Starlight, and it was all Starlight's credit. They signed a contract this morning. Even the time was set by me back then." Ningxi nodded and stood up. "Let's go and get it. Let's start with this advertisement." Chapter 1826. Go get it. Start with this advertisement. It was a simple sentence, but it instantly ignited the fire in Su Tao's heart. Seeing that Su Tao had recovered, Liang Feixing breathed a sigh of relief. "The matchmaking mission is done. I have to get to work." Now that Ningxi had returned, he had to prepare a series of public relations plans. Ningxi nodded. "Call me if you need anything." The three of them discussed for a while and began to work separately. Su Tao used the fastest speed to make himself look like a human, then immediately brought Ningxi to Wildy's branch in China. Being the spokesperson of an international A-list brand was undoubtedly a dream for every female star who wanted to be gilded in their career. Lu Xiaoro was only missing a few big-name endorsements and awards to be able to advance further, which was why he spent so much effort to help her get this endorsement. Because Lu Xiaoro was completely different from Ningxi, Yisudong did not have high hopes for her, nor was he willing to waste his energy on her. It could be said that all the resources she had were fought for with his life. Take this endorsement, for example. He had put aside his pride, pulled countless strings, and paid for all the social engagements out of his own pocket. In the end, it ended up like this. How could he not lose control of his emotions? He knew that this was all Xing Hui's doing. He had offended Xing Hui too much previously, and the other party had been waiting for the final blow. Wildy's company building. The person in charge of YLD, Parker, Lu Xiaoro, and Lu Xiaoro's new manager, Cheng Yibin, were chatting happily in the office. Cheng Yibin said earnestly, "Sai, nowadays there are a lot of empty vases. There aren't many artists like our Xiaoro who are unique and recognizable. It's not that I'm boasting, but there's a saying in China, there's a scholar within. A veteran brand like YLD needs a representative like our Xiaoro who has a good temperament and connotation." Lu Xiaoro's appearance was not outstanding, but she had a very comfortable scholarly aura. She was like a clear spring in the current fickle entertainment industry, which was why Su Tao had his eyes on her back then. Sure enough, after Lu Xiaoro played a few classic roles with her unique temperament, she immediately attracted a large number of die-hard fans, which also proved Su Tao's keen eyes. Parker said with a smile, "Haha, we are also interested in this special trait of Miss Xiaoro." Parker was obviously very satisfied with Lu Xiaoro. Although it was Su Tao who used this excuse to convince him, it made no difference to him. As long as the results were the same, it did not matter to him who Lu Xiaoro's manager would be. Besides, Starlight was much stronger than Golden Era, and Lu Xiaoro joining Starlight was more beneficial to them. Cheng Yibin looked at Lu Xiaoro, and when he thought of Su Tao's exasperated expression, he felt a burst of joy in his heart. "Director Parker, if there are no other problems, shall we sign the contract today? I've already booked a table at the Grand Ju Hotel to celebrate our happy cooperation." Parker nodded and flipped open a thick stack of endorsement contracts. Of course, this is halfway through the conversation, there was a knock on the door. The assistant pushed the door open apologetically and walked to Parker's side, looking a little awkward. "What is it?" Parker asked in a low voice, somewhat displeased at being disturbed. Chapter 1827. Director Mr. Su is here. The assistant looked at Lu Xiaoro and Cheng Yibin and spoke hesitantly. "Su Tao." Parker frowned. Lu Xiaoro and Cheng Yibin looked at each other, frowning as well. "Yes. What's he doing here?" Parker asked. The assistant coughed awkwardly. He said, "He's here to sign a contract." Before Parker could speak, Cheng Yibin laughed. "Sign a contract? What's he going to use to sign a contract?" "I think he brought a female artist with him." The assistant replied. "Female artist? Which one?" Lu Xiaoro probed. She did not remember Su Tao having any artists under him. "She's wearing a mask and sunglasses. I don't know who she is. Maybe she's a newcomer under him?" The assistant guessed. Cheng Yibin snorted coldly with a face full of anger. "This drunkard must be drunk. He actually brought a random person here and forced him to sign a contract? What does he think this place is?" Lu Xiaoro wore a sad expression as she replied, "Big Brother Tao is probably still unhappy about my departure." Cheng Yibin's face darkened. "Unhappy? How dare he be unhappy? Xiaoro, you're such a good seedling, but you've been held back by him until now. You would have been famous if you'd come to Starlight earlier. You wouldn't have to suffer so much and waste your youth." Lu Xiaoro pursed her lips, her face filled with resentment. She had always believed that she was where she was today because of herself. Under Cheng Yibin's constant brainwashing, she became even more convinced. She blamed Su Tao and Golden Era for dragging her down, but she did not consider that if Su Tao had not discovered her, she would have never been able to make a name for herself. Parker was unhappy with Su Tao's pestering and spoke with a dark expression. "Ask him to leave. Tell him that I've decided to sign a contract with Miss Lu." "All right." The assistant nodded. Since Su Tao had given him a big red packet, he said casually, "By the way, Director, Mr. Su asked me to pass a message to you." He said, "What did he say?" Parker asked nonchalantly. "He said that if you insist on signing a contract with Miss Lu, you will lose the only chance to surpass SS," the assistant replied. The moment the assistant's voice fell, Parker's expression suddenly changed. As one of the top international brands, Boss was YLD's biggest competitor in the Huan Nation region. Almost every year, the sales volume was suppressed by Boss. As the director of the Huan Nation region, he would be hammered by the higher-ups in every meeting. This year, He was even given a strict order to surpass Boss. However, the spokesperson for Boss this year was the most popular female celebrity in China, Han Zixuan. No matter who he looked for, it was impossible for her to surpass Han Zixuan. Therefore, he was convinced by Su Tao and chose Lu Xiaoro. But now, Su Tao, who had personally persuaded him, told him that if he chose to sign a contract with Lu Xiaoro, he would lose his only chance to surpass the SS rank. Such contradictory words. Cheng Yibin saw that Parker's expression wasn't right and hurriedly said, "Director Parker, don't listen to that guy's nonsense. He's at his wit's end and purposely said that to provoke you." What did he mean by losing his only chance to surpass the boss? Did he mean that he could surpass the boss just by signing a contract with him? What a fool's dream. Chapter 1828. Lu Xiaoro took the opportunity to speak up. "As far as I know, after Sister Yu Yu and I left, Brother Tao doesn't have many people under him. Even in the entire Golden Era, there aren't many female artists that are presentable." Parker remained silent as he listened to Cheng Yibin and Lu Xiaoro's conversation. He had to admit that Su Tao had completely grasped his weak spot. What Su Tao said was too impactful for him. After a long time, Parker stood up slowly under their gazes. "Mr. Chung, Ms. Lu, please wait for a moment. I'll go meet him and return shortly." Cheng Yibin was displeased, but he did not show it. He smiled generously and said, "Director Parker, you're so considerate. You've told him clearly to avoid any unnecessary trouble in the future." After Parker left in a hurry, Cheng Yibin's face darkened and he slammed the coffee table in front of him. "Su Tao, how dare you try to trip me up at a time like this? It seems like I've gone too easy on him. You're courting death." Lu Xiaoro quickly comforted him. "Brother Bing, don't worry. He doesn't have any presentable artists under him. Even if he managed to trick Director Parker, he's just asking to be humiliated." Cheng Yibin's eyes flashed fiercely. "I'll settle the score with him after the contract is signed." Wildy's reception room was decorated with an artistic atmosphere. There were retro-colored glass windows, an embroidered sofa with ancient patterns, a white velvet carpet, camellias and peonies in a vase, and classic products of Wildy were displayed in a display cabinet. At this moment, she had already taken off her sunglasses and mask. She was sitting on the sofa and flipping through the album on the shelf. But Su Tao didn't do anything. He just stared at she like a miser staring at his huge treasure. It couldn't be helped. As long as he was a man, as long as he was a human, he would never be able to take his eyes off Shi. The two did not wait for long before footsteps approached from outside the door. Soon, the sound of footsteps reached the door. With a click, the door was unlocked. Parker pushed the door open and walked in with a cold expression. "Mr. Su, may I ask what exactly is the meaning of this? You were the one who recommended Lu Xiaoro to me. Even if she's not your artist now, you shouldn't deliberately sabotage her," Parker said angrily. In the next second, his gaze seemed to have its own consciousness as it was instantly attracted by the figure on the sofa. His suddenly contracted pupils were filled with an inconceivable light. "Oh my God, Ning. Miss Ning." Su Tao was not surprised by Parker's dull reaction. He shrugged and said, "Director Parker, I'm not contradicting myself. When I persuaded you to use Lu Xiaoro, I said that if you used Lu Xiaoro, you might be able to find another way to win. But this time," Parker reacted almost instantly, and his attitude took a 180-degree turn. "I'm really sorry. I was caught up in some trivial matters just now. Please wait for a moment." With that, he turned around like a whirlwind, opened the door, and said to the assistant outside, "Prepare a new endorsement contract immediately." "Huh?" The assistant was suddenly stunned. The director had just gone in for a few seconds. What happened? At this moment, the corner of Su Tao's mouth twitched slightly. He couldn't tell what he was feeling. Back then, in order to convince Parker to use Lu Xiaoro, he had spent a Herculean effort, and his lips were almost broken from talking. But now, he only said a short sentence. In the face of real strength, all skills were nothingness. Chapter 1829. Parker wiped his sweaty palms, gave an elegant gentleman salute, and reached out his hand to Ningxi. "Hello, Miss Ningxi." Ningxi reached out and shook Parker's hand lightly. "Hello, Director Parker." Looking at Ningxi's face that seemed to have been turned back in time, Parker was indescribably excited. "Miss Ning, it's been a long time. It's been a year since we last met at the fashion banquet. I didn't expect that after a year, Miss Ning. You're even more beautiful than before." Not to mention the sensation that Ningxi's return would cause after a year. Just this time reversal's stunning face alone could be used as the biggest selling point of this advertisement. In the history of classic endorsements, several big brands' counterattacks and sales legends happened when retired movie queens and actresses came back. Moreover, Ningxi hadn't retired for long and was a hot topic. If he hadn't seen Ningxi in person a year later, he wouldn't be sure if she could beat Han Zixuan, who was in the limelight now. However, after seeing her in person, the last bit of concern disappeared. Han Zixuan and Ningxi weren't on the same level at all. Su Tao was right. If he missed this opportunity, he might really miss his only chance to defeat the SS. He had to get this cooperation no matter what. "Director Parker, you're overpraising me." No. I'm speaking from the bottom of my heart." Parker's expression was unusually sincere. "I just didn't expect that Miss Ning would come back. It's such a big surprise. If I had known earlier, I would have paid you a visit personally. You wouldn't have to make this trip." After speaking, he looked at Su Tao with a face full of gratitude. "Mr. Su, I sincerely apologize for being presumptuous and disrespectful before. Please be sure to sign this endorsement with YLD. We'll discuss the endorsement fee again. You can name the price. I can still make the decision." Su Tao's lips twitched with a fake smile. "Hee, isn't that a little inappropriate? Don't you still have people waiting on your side? It wouldn't be good if people say that we snatched the contract midway." Parker immediately said righteously, "The person I arranged to meet today was you, Mr. Su. I don't think there's anything inappropriate about this. Everyone in the company can prove that I've been negotiating with you all this time, Mr. Su." Su Tao was a little speechless. "TSK, this foreigner really knows how to talk. Okay, then shall we discuss the details now?" Su Tao knew when to stop. "No problem. Please take a look at this preliminary contract. I will try my best to satisfy all your and Miss Ning's requirements." Meanwhile, in the office, Parker said he would be back soon, but he never came back. Cheng Yibin and Lu Xiaoro had been waiting for more than half an hour, but he still hadn't come back. Cheng Yibin, who was originally unperturbed, couldn't help but feel a little impatient. What's going on? Where's he? After all, Su Tao was a veteran gold medal manager in the industry. He had been in the entertainment industry for many years and had a few tricks up his sleeve. Could it be that he had used some tricks again and caused the situation to change? Lu Xiaoro looked in the direction of the door. She firmly believed that no matter how capable Su Tao was, he couldn't cook without rice. She said indifferently, "He's probably being entangled by Su Tao. You know how difficult it is to deal with Su Tao." Cheng Yibin looked displeased. "This kind of ruffian, just get the security to chase him out. What's the point of wasting our time talking to him?" Just as Cheng Yibin was complaining, Parker's assistant knocked on the door and entered. Chapter 1830. Assistant phone, you're finally here. Where's Director Parker? Cheng Yibin glanced behind the assistant, but did not see anyone. The assistant said politely, "I'm sorry, Director Parker is currently receiving an important guest. Please return." Cheng Yibin was stunned. Important guest? What kind of important guest could make Parker terminate such an important contract? He was just one step away from signing the contract. He had even booked a celebratory banquet, but then there was an unforeseen event. Cheng Yibin's face turned a little ugly for a moment. He lowered his voice and said, "Assistant Feng, please tell Director Parker that we've already agreed to sign the contract today. I rushed over here after helping Xiao Ro push down several important announcements. It's not appropriate for your company to suddenly change the date like this. If we reschedule the next time, I might not even have time for the next month." Cheng Yibin's tone carried a hint of warning. Lu Xiaoro heard Cheng Yibin's words and immediately gained confidence. She was now an artist of Starlight Entertainment. Things are different now. A trace of mockery flashed through the assistant's eyes. Not only did he not look nervous, he said calmly, "It's not rescheduling. The two of you don't have to come anymore. We've already decided on another candidate for the spokesperson." "What did you say?" Cheng Yibin stood up the moment the assistant finished speaking. Lu Xiaoro's expression changed instantly. Her face was filled with disbelief. "What do you think Starlight Entertainment is? How can you just change people without even informing us?" Cheng Yibin could not keep his face, and his face was immediately filled with anger. The assistant chuckled and said slowly, "Mr. Cheng, your words are too serious. You should know the rules in the industry. All verbal promises are not counted. As long as there's no signature, anyone has a chance to compete. Moreover, even if it's a verbal agreement, it's between Director Parker and Mr. Su. It has nothing to do with you, Mr. Cheng, right? You but Su Tao chose me," Lu Xiaoro said unwillingly. "But now, Mr. Su has recommended a better candidate for us." Cheng Yibin was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. However, he did not dare to make a scene in YLD. He could only swallow his anger and asked with a gloomy face, "Who's the new spokesperson that Director Parker has chosen?" He wanted to see which idiot dared to snatch Starlight's endorsement. So what if she snatched away the endorsement? He would immediately ban her and see if Su Tao could protect her. "Sorry, this is a company secret. Forgive me for not being able to disclose it." The assistant only said this sentence and then left. Lu Xiaoro fell into the chair in a daze. "That's impossible. Su Tao couldn't come up with a better candidate." Cheng Yibin snorted coldly. "It must be some kind of trick." Lu Xiaoro was extremely anxious. "Brother Bin, what do we do now? This endorsement was clearly mine. Brother Bin, you have to help me get it back. I've waited so long, too. It's just a small endorsement. What's the rush? What a blind fool. Do you still need to worry about not being able to get endorsements with me?" Cheng Yibin said perfunctorily in annoyance. With Parker's attitude, how could he snatch it? He would not be like Su Tao, shamelessly pretending to be a grandson just for endorsement. Lu Xiaoro still wanted to say something, but seeing Cheng Yibin's impatient expression, she could only keep quiet. Cheng Yibin had a lot of big names under him. All the good resources were given to others first. What good resources could fall into her hands? Chapter 1831. Furthermore, this was YLD, an endorsement that was on the same level as SS. If she could get this endorsement, all her resources and endorsements would go up a notch in the future. She thought that she would definitely be promoted after she joined Starlight. Who knew that she would lose such an important contract as soon as she left Su Tao? She had underestimated Su Tao. Damn it, he's being sincere. He's trying to ruin me. Yin Yu was the one who asked his assistant to slap him and insult him in public, not her. She was just trying to protect herself. Why did he have to target her? Why did he have to take away something that she had worked so hard for? Without this contract, how would she, who had no status or background, be able to stand her ground in the highly competitive Starlight Entertainment? In front of the YLD building, Su Tao carefully opened the car door and helped Ning Shi into the car. Just when he was about to turn around to the driver's seat, an angry voice came from behind. Lu Xiaoro caught up to him in her high heels and started scolding him the moment she saw him. "Su Tao, you're too much." Su Tao stopped in his tracks and raised his eyebrows. "Oh? Too much? Superstar Lu, how am I too much?" Lu Xiaoro's eyes were filled with hatred. "You know how important this endorsement is to me." Su Tao sneered. "Hey, of course I know. If he didn't know, would he have fought so hard for her?" Lu Xiaoro was so angry that she shrieked. "Su Tao, don't always act like you've done so much for me. I only got to where I am today because of my own hard work. If I was in Starlight instead of Golden Era, I would have been an A-lister a long time ago. It's because of you that I'm stuck here. You don't deserve to be my manager." Su Tao remained silent. He was already numb to Lu Xiaoro's insults. However, at this moment, The door of the silent black car was suddenly pushed open by a fair hand. A woman slowly got out of the car and looked at the indignant girl in front of the car. You know very well that with your talent, you would never be able to make a name for yourself in Starlight. If it wasn't for Brother Tao, you would only be a minor character in Golden Era. You're right. You don't deserve a manager like Su Tao. Lu Xiaoro widened her eyes and stared blankly at the woman who suddenly came out of the car. She seemed to have seen something extremely frightening, and even her body began to tremble slightly. Senior Ning Xiao. How could this be? Su Tao's new artist was actually Ning Shi. Forget it, Ning Shi. There's nothing to say. Su Tao was surprised to see Ning Shi speak up for him. At the same time, his heart warmed up. In the future, you will have many opportunities to know what you have betrayed and lost today. After saying this, Ning Shi returned to the car. Lu Xiaoro stared at the black car that was getting further and further away. She stood there in a daze, unable to regain her senses. That sentence, "You don't deserve a manager like Su Tao," hit her hard. Ning Shi was back. Ning Shi chose Su Tao as her agent. Just this fact alone was enough to send her into a panic. This kind of feeling was like a piece of trash that she had discarded like a pair of worn-out shoes. One day, someone suddenly picked it up and said that it was a priceless treasure, and she had eyes but failed to see. Chapter 1832. In the car. Ahem, Ning Shi just now? Thank you. You don't have to. I'm used to it. Arguing with that kind of person will only lower your status, Su Tao said gratefully. Ning Shi rested her head on her hand and said carelessly, "It's nothing. I just can't stand people bullying my people." Hearing this, Su Tao's eyes welled up with tears. It felt so good to have someone to rely on. Who else do you have now? Ning Shi nodded and asked. Su Tao sighed. There aren't any artists that can be taken out. There's only a B-lister, Qin Shuang. She's a pretty hard-working girl, but her luck is a little bad. She's been in the industry for 8 years, and there are a lot of people who are popular in the same period as her, but she just can't become popular. Ning Shi nodded. I'll help her. Su Tao was overjoyed. That's great. Ning Shi scrolled through the news about Jiang Mai and Han Zixuan on her phone and asked with a frown, "How's Jiang Mai doing?" Su Tao shook his head helplessly. Lei Ming is not cooperating at all, and the situation is getting worse. If we don't clarify in time, the fans will have a bad impression of him, and it will be hard to clear it in the future. Is the photo of him and Han Zixuan a stills photo? Ning Shi asked with certainty. Su Tao nodded. It's a stills photo of Shun Mian's new show. Jiang Mai is just a cameo, and the kissing scene is just a fake. Because of his sensitive subject matter, it's difficult for it to be shown in China, and the whole process is confidential. Shin Mian is going to take it abroad for an exhibition, so it can't be leaked in advance. Otherwise, if the news is leaked, it will be blocked, and all our efforts will be in vain. Jiang Mai is a loyal friend. He has been called a scumbag by so many people, but he still didn't say anything. Lei Ming and Liang Zibin wanted him to apologize and suppress the matter, but he didn't want to. Now it's a stalemate. Ning Shi sighed and shook her head. With Jiang Mai's character, he would never apologize. Su Tao said tentatively, Ning Shi, your comeback this time has something to do with Jiang Mai, right? This matter. Are you preparing to? In fact, those who knew the truth all knew that the reason why Jiang Mai publicly criticized Han Zixuan was because of what Zheng Anru said at the press conference. Who in Xianxia Entertainment didn't know how Han Zixuan got her position. In the end, those people actually said such shameless words in public. Ning Shi thought for a moment and then asked, when is the latest promotion of Under the Heavens? Although Su Tao had been getting drunk recently, he still knew this information like the back of his hand. He immediately replied, 2 days later, because the last press conference was ruined by Jiang Mai, they made it even bigger this time. They even invited all the original cast members of The World to promote it, including the best actor Zhao Sizhou, the veteran actor Feng Yibo. It is said that even Ning Xiuo will attend. Ning Shi nodded. Then get ready. Let's go have a look. Su Tao's eyes lit up. He couldn't have asked for more. You mean to snatch the role? Should he find Xianxia as well? It was said that they had just given Xianxia an ultimatum, asking him to apologize publicly. Otherwise, the male lead would be replaced. Why don't we just snatch both the male and female leads back this time? She raised her eyebrows and said quietly, "Who said I'm going to grab a role?" No. Su Tao was a bit confused. Then what are we going to do? She smiled. Of course, we're going to make a scene. Su Tao. Chapter 1833. At the Royal Ju Hotel, the main cast of The World and several important investors gathered together. This Xianxia is too arrogant. Such a big investment was almost ruined in his hands. A fierce-looking coal boss with a beer belly said with displeasure, "Why should we give him a chance? I think we should just kick him out." A well-dressed, middle-aged man echoed. The general manager of Starlight Entertainment tried to smooth things over with a smile on his face. Xianxia's popularity is indisputable. As long as he repents and apologizes to our Zixuan, we can give him another chance in the future publicity. After all, only with an explosive point can there be popularity. With him around, our movie won't be short of topics. Qinan, the producer, said, "I've contacted Lei Ming. Xianxia must appear and make a public apology the day after tomorrow. This is the last chance. I believe they will know what to do." Wang Linhai, the assistant director, tried to smooth things over. He raised his glass and said, Okay. Let's not talk about these things. Let's toast to our beauty Han. Zixuan has been wrong this time. That Xianxia is too much to abandon her. He's too tasteless as a man. Therefore, everyone began to criticize Xianxia and toast to Han Zixuan. After all, Han Zixuan was the leader of this movie. Even the investors had to be polite to her. One of the investors, whose face was red from drinking, stood up and said excitedly and proudly, "Everyone, I'm confident that with the strong cast of this movie, we can definitely surpass the record set by Nine Cloud a year ago." Ha, of course. With Zixuan's popularity, it's hard not to be popular. When Nine Cloud became popular, not only did it make a lot of people popular, but all the investors made a lot of money. It was no wonder that these investors were so obsessed with it that they specially invited the director of Nine Cloud, Wuxia, hoping to create another miracle. Although the total investment of The World this time was no less than that of Nine Cloud, and with the popularity of the movie The World and the gimmick of romance, Wuxia didn't like it. With such a big investment and cast, it was certain that they would make money. But to make a big hit? To surpass Nine Cloud? Did they know that back in the day, even a minor character in Nine Firmaments was extremely popular, with fans writing countless doujinshi jokes? Did they know that even Papa, who had very few scenes with the female lead, had a large number of diehard fans? Not to mention that she had created the iconic image of the Cloud Phoenix, which was popular all over the country. From 80-year-old grannies to 6-year-old boys, everyone knew about it. Did they think it was so easy to make a big hit? Even Under the Heavens, which had a strong fan base and foundation, couldn't easily surpass Nine Heavens. He dared to say that if there was anyone in this world who could surpass the brilliance of Nine Heavens, it would be Shi and Xianxia himself. These investors simply didn't understand where the core and soul of Under the Heavens was, and he couldn't be bothered to play the lute to a cow. Since the investors had their eyes on Under the Heavens, even if they didn't look for him, they would still look for someone else. To him, Shi had retired, so it didn't matter who the actor was. However, now that even Xianxia couldn't make him stay, he was even more disheartened. Even now, he still expected Xianxia to compromise and apologize, trying to exploit and squeeze out every last bit of value from him. How naive. Chapter 1834. Dear Town, Garden House. Shi came home from work and leaned comfortably on the sofa. Lu Tingxiao was massaging her legs. Are you tired? She squinted comfortably like a cat and waved her hand. No, I'm not tired. I just signed a contract today. I didn't do anything. I didn't even move my lips. Then I got it. Lu Tingxiao chuckled. You're awesome, madam. Haha, of course. Whose wife I am. He didn't forget to praise his sweetheart when he was praising himself. Lu Tingxiao loved her so much. He leaned over and kissed her forehead. Then he picked up the bowl of cold soup on the coffee table. Didn't you drink it just now? What's this? Ning, she frowned. Mom made it for you. Oh, sweetheart, can we make a deal? Don't let Mom make soup for me again. My belly is about to pop out. Ning, she put on a sad face and touched her flat belly exaggeratedly. Lu Tingxiao coaxed her softly. I only left a small bowl for you. The rest is for Jing Li. Ning, she burst into laughter. Puffed. You're really my brother, the little carp that was about to throw up thought. I must be a fake brother. Lu Tingxiao fed his wife contentedly. Do you need me to find Jiang Mai for you? He knew that Ning, she was most worried about Jiang Mai's condition. Ning, she rolled her eyes like a little fox and said, No need. Little golden retriever will show up by itself. After drinking half a bowl of soup, Ning, she jumped off the sofa and said, I can't talk to you anymore. I'm going to practice hard. Lu Tingxiao frowned. Didn't you say you wouldn't tire yourself out because of your comeback? Ning, she blinked and said, Who said I'm doing this for my comeback? I'm doing this for you. For me? Lu Tingxiao was puzzled. Yes, to get on top of you. Who told you to say that my physical strength is poor? Ning, she said, and ran away, obviously still holding a grudge about what happened that night. Lu Tingxiao, actually, she didn't need to get on top of him. He could cooperate. In the past 2 days, after Ning, she quietly took a big brand endorsement, there was no more movement. Although Lu Xiaoro was very shocked by Ning Shi's appearance that day, she didn't mention it to anyone because she didn't know the situation. Besides, it wouldn't do her any good if she did. However, she had been trembling with fear, hoping that things were not what she had imagined, and that there was some misunderstanding. After losing the endorsement with YLD, she tried her best to please Cheng Yibin, hoping that he could help her fight for other endorsements and resources. She was eager to gain a foothold in Starlight as soon as possible. In the end, after Cheng Yibin took countless benefits and kickbacks from her, he finally agreed to help her pull some strings. However, he took her to drink alone with an old man who was almost 60 years old. Even a fool would know what that meant. And that old man was just an executive of a second-tier brand company. She suddenly recalled that Su Tao had once told them when he was drunk that even if he had to sell his chrysanthemum, he would absolutely not let the good cabbages under him be taken by this kind of pig. In the future, you will have many opportunities to know what you have betrayed and lost today. She didn't expect that Ning Shi's words would come true so soon. Chapter 1835. The next day, at the Imperial City International Convention and Exhibition Center, the organizers were rich. In order to avenge the humiliation they suffered during the press conference, they had arranged for the event to be held in the main exhibition hall that could accommodate 2,000 people. The tickets were sold out the moment the news was announced a week ago. Various media outlets were fighting to get an interview spot. What did Golden Era say? Wang Haojuan, the general manager of Starlight Entertainment, asked his PR officer with a dark expression. I've warned them. Golden Era replied that they will give us a satisfactory answer today. The other party replied proudly. Wang Haojuan snorted coldly. I knew it. I thought they had a backbone, but they still have to bow down in the end. If it wasn't for that kid's popularity, I would have replaced all of them with Starlight's artists. That way, they wouldn't be able to take advantage of us. You're right, CEO Wang. The subordinate agreed. When Under the Heavens was being filmed, Starlight Entertainment did not get any benefits because they withdrew their investment midway. This time, they've been eyeing this juicy piece of meat for a long time. They finally seized the opportunity to get the rights to remake the movie and became the biggest investor. There's something else I need to confirm with you, CEO Wang. Is Vice President Ning going to attend this event as well? The subordinate asked. Wang Haojuan said confidently, Vice President Ning will be the finale. Not only will she be the female lead of the movie, but she will also be an important investor of the movie. It had been a long time since the incident. Moreover, she had already retired from the entertainment industry. This was the best opportunity for Shui Luo to reappear in front of the public. Zixuan, do you see this? Everyone outside is here for you. Zheng Anru looked at the huge crowd of fans from the backstage. Her eyes were filled with excitement and ambition. Han Zixuan played with a strand of hair beside her ear. She was a little dispirited. Everything was just a matter of course. What was there to be excited about? I've asked around. As long as Shin Mian's movie is successfully submitted to the exhibition, there's an 80% chance that you'll win an award. In addition, Under the Heavens will help you gain national recognition. You'll be an unsurpassable existence in the entertainment industry. No one will dare to mention Xi's name in front of you anymore. Only when she heard this did Han Zixuan's eyes move slightly, and her eyebrows relaxed quite a bit. Zheng Anru immediately knew that she had flattered the right person. She continued to say what Zixuan liked to hear. That damn Jiangmai. We kindly invited him to do the promotion with us, but he refused. Zixuan, don't worry. Today, he will apologize to you in public. At the same time, the front desk was busy preparing. The two hosts, one male and one female, were enthusiastically giving their opening remarks and warming up the scene. The big screen behind them was playing the beautiful photos of the new characters and the special effects trailer. The fans at the scene screamed from time to time, calling it a visual feast. Next, let's welcome the main cast of Under the Heavens to the stage. Welcome, welcome everyone. The male and female hosts introduced and interviewed the cast and crew one by one. At the same time, they interacted with the live fans. And this was just the appetizer. Later on, there would be more and more explosive points. Chapter 1836. After the interaction between the main cast and crew, the host began to keep the audience in suspense. From the supporting cast to the main cast, he invited the actors from the original version to the stage to reminisce about the past. As soon as Zhao Xizhou, who played the male lead in the original version of The World, appeared, he caused a stir. The interaction between Zhao Xizhou and the new version of Chu Beichen also attracted a lot of attention. The organizers and the investors in the front row saw that the atmosphere was high and everything was going smoothly, so they all showed a satisfied expression. After the fans and media were almost hooked, the host finally said excitedly, "Do you know who's going to appear next? Han Zixuan, 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 Xianxia, Xianxia, Xianxia." The audience suddenly burst into thunderous cheers. The fans waved the glow sticks and bulletin boards in their hands crazily. As if everyone had agreed on it, they all shouted in unison, "No Zixuan, no Chang'e. Wu Zixuan, no Chang'e. Wu Zixuan, no Chang'e. The best goddess Xian, the best Meng Chang'e." The slogans echoed in the huge exhibition hall. It was deafening, and the atmosphere at the scene was raised to the extreme. Oh my God, our Zixuan is too popular. Of course, Goddess Xian is the queen of popularity. Then what are you waiting for? Hurry up and invite our Goddess Xian on stage. Everyone, can you all be louder? Let the goddess hear your call. Feel your passion. All kinds of slogans and cheers came one after another. Amidst everyone's anticipation, Han Zixuan finally walked up to the stage. As the star of Starlight Entertainment, she naturally had to give face to the higher-ups. Han Zixuan knew this very well. So, at this moment, she was wearing the store treasure that history had released half a year ago. It was called Blooming Flowers. The meaning of this gown was very suitable for the popular Han Zixuan. The two complemented each other very well. It was made of a dreamy, ethereal material. 10 masters had spent 3 months to inlay 365 beaded flowers. The flowers spread from the chest to the hem of the skirt. The diamond necklace on her neck was made of 15 round diamonds, 26 pear-shaped diamonds, 9 heart-shaped diamonds, and 5 emerald-shaped diamonds. The necklace was made of 15 round diamonds, 26 pear-shaped diamonds, 9 heart-shaped diamonds, and 5 emerald-shaped diamonds. The jewelry on her wrist was KDY's 100-year commemorative edition, and the high heels on her feet were high-end custom-made shoes that had yet to be released in the market. At this moment, the woman on the stage was the center of attention. Every single strand of hair on her body was dazzling and elegant. "Oh my God, Goddess Xian is so beautiful today," the female host exclaimed exaggeratedly. The male host couldn't take his eyes off her. "Our Goddess Xian is just as beautiful every day. Isn't that right?" Yes, the fans were shouting at the top of their lungs, and the fans were even more excited. After the host livened up the atmosphere for a while, he invited Han Zixuan to sit on the sofa and began to discuss the plot with the other actors and the main cast. The assistant director was full of praises the whole time. Director Guo's Under the Heavens is indeed a classic, but because of Xianxian's participation, I dare say that when the film is released, it will definitely subvert your imagination. The producer laughed. This role can be said to be tailor-made for Xianxian, especially after the changes to the script with Meng Chang'e as the main character. It will definitely make up for the audience's regrets and make it even more enjoyable. Chapter 1837. Zheng Anru said proudly, "Our Xianxian has been preparing for this show since half a year ago. She has personally learned martial arts from her master and insisted on having no stunt doubles. When the time comes, she will personally complete all the scenes." Zheng Anru's words immediately won the hearts of a large number of fans. The audience began to cheer excitedly, feeling sorry for their goddess for working so hard for them. Upon hearing that, the host immediately followed the prearranged procedure and pretended to be excited. "Really? I'm so looking forward to it. I wonder if we'll be able to see Xuan's amazing performance today. Does everyone want to see it?" "Yes," the audience immediately shouted. Han Zixuan looked at her outfit awkwardly and said, "I might need to change my clothes first." We can wait. We can wait as long as it takes for our goddess." Amidst the fervent anticipation, Han Zixuan went backstage to change while the host continued to liven up the atmosphere. A moment later, Han Zixuan walked out from backstage in a bright red outfit with a high ponytail and a long spear in her hand. Unsurprisingly, the screams of the fans below the stage almost broke the roof. Aside from Han Zixuan, there was another staff member wearing armor on the stage. He was Han Zixuan's partner. On the big screen behind her, Han Zixuan's eyes flashed, and the spear in her hand immediately attacked her opponent. The beautiful and exciting fight made the fans gasp in surprise. Almost all the fans in the audience were recording the fight with their phones, and the cameras were also shooting from all angles. After all, the video would be uploaded to the internet to promote the show. After a wonderful live performance, the cheers of "No Zixuan, No Long Song" became even louder. In the backstage, Wang Haojuan nodded happily. It was indeed worth it to spend so much money to promote the show. Now, all that was left was Jiang Mai's apology and Vice President Ning's concluding speech as the investors' representative. Inform Golden Era that Jiang Mai can go on stage now. Wang Haojuan instructed his subordinate. "All right away." After receiving the notification through the wireless earpiece, the host smiled and said, "Did everyone notice? There's still one more person who hasn't come today." Most of the audience present knew that the host was referring to Jiang Mai. Han Zixuan's die-hard fans immediately booed. At the same time, Jiang Mai's fan club also cheered fiercely. The two groups were now like fire and water, and they almost fought on the spot. "I heard that this late guest has something to say to our Zixuan." The audience's curiosity was piqued by the host, and they all looked backstage. There was no movement on the other side. After about a minute, a middle-aged man in a black suit appeared in front of everyone. "Su Tao, how could it be him? Where's Lei Ming?" Backstage, Wang Haojuan frowned. "It's probably because they can't control Jiang Mai, so they changed his agent," one of his men speculated. "Now, what's the difference? Isn't Su Tao also trash?" On the stage, Su Tao appeared in the light first. Then, The audience saw the man carefully reach out his hand towards the darkness behind him. Then, a fair finger landed on the man's arm. With the man holding it little by little from the darkness, they appeared on the brightly lit stage. Chapter 1838. The woman walked out of the darkness and slowly appeared under the light. She was wearing a white cheongsam without any impurities. Her ink-black hair was loosely tied up in a lazy bun at the back. Except for the simple ring necklace at her collarbone, there was no extra pendant on her. However, the moment the girl appeared under the light, she was like the sun in the night sky. Her splendor was enough to overshadow everything in the world. The host, the actors, the guests, the fans off the stage, the media, the huge convention center was dead silent. Not a single sound could be heard. It was as if everything in front of them would disappear like flowers in a mirror or the moon in the water as long as they made sound. Ningxi. In the crowd, someone began to whisper first. Then, this name quickly swept through the entire venue like a wave, surging into everyone's ears. Everyone seemed to wake up from a dream and suddenly stared at the woman who had walked slowly to the center of the stage. The sound of the scene was like a rising tide, getting louder and louder. My God. Ningxi. It's really Ningxi. A female fan covered her face with her hands, her face full of disbelief. This is impossible. Wang Haojuan backstage was even more confused than the fans and audience. Wang Haojuan had just recovered from the shock of Ningxi's stunning appearance, and he was on the verge of collapse. What's going on? Shouldn't it be Jiangmai on the stage? Why is it Ningxi? The public relations staff was also completely dumbfounded. They were all in a mess, asking everywhere what was going on. The situation at the front desk was not much better. The two professional hosts stared at each other, unable to say a word. Even Zheng Anru, who had always been calm and had a glib tongue, was stunned. Han Zixuan, who had just finished her live performance, stood there in a daze. A moment ago, she was still a valiant goddess in red, but now she was like an insignificant passerby, completely ignored by everyone. In the end, it was Su Tao who took the microphone from the dumbfounded host and said leisurely, "My dears, good evening. It's a great honor to be repeatedly invited by the organizer to attend the publicity ceremony of the world." Hearing Su Tao's words, Wang Haojuan backstage almost spat out blood. Su Tao, you, fuck, you, fuck, dog, fuck. When did I invite you again and again? Was he crazy? He went to invite Ningxi. Mr. Wang, what should we do now? Under the watchful eyes of so many people, we can't just kick him out. The public relations director was so anxious that he was sweating profusely. Make sure that the people at the front hold on. She was just a has-been actress. Why are you panicking? Wang Haojun roared. Yes, yes. The man wiped the sweat on his forehead, and then he couldn't help but look at the woman next to Su Tao. At the same time, he muttered in his heart, outdated actress. But as soon as this has-been actress went on stage, she actually made Han Zixuan, who was the center of attention just a moment ago, look like an idiot. Even they themselves didn't panic at first. Instead, they instinctively indulged in it. Meanwhile, at a certain large arcade in the imperial capital, Jiang Mai was wearing a pair of flip-flops and holding a lollipop in his mouth. His beard was unshaven and his yellow hair was as messy as a chicken's nest. With his current status, even if he bumped into a fan, he wouldn't be recognized. GA over. Seeing the bright red words "Game Over" on the screen, the man angrily hammered the computer. Fuck, he was still impatient after all. Today was the day that those idiots would hold the publicity conference. You're tuning into the Eternal Immortal Ballad YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.